that are at their second reading stage will this afternoon resume debate. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2024. This is a bill that is sponsored by the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party, a bill whose debate already took place conclusively on the floor of the National Assembly. This afternoon, the business that will be transacted on this particular bill is that a question will be put. But the principal object of this bill is to amend the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Act number 22 of 2011 to prescribe the qualifications for appointment of a chairperson of the commission. The bill also seeks to give effect to some of the recommendations and views of the public that were submitted during the National Dialogue Discourse on the issues of electoral justice and related matters. So this is a bill whose debate was already concluded, and this afternoon the bill will be read for the second time and proceed to the next stage. The Kenya National Library Service Bill, a bill also originating from the National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2023, will resume debate this afternoon. This is a bill that is sponsored by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture. This particular debate will resume this afternoon after it was interrupted on the 9th of October, the year 2024, in the afternoon sitting. Pursuant to the House Standing Order number 225, that is 225, the provisions of that particular standing order with regards to petitions, the Honorable Caleb Mule for Machakos Town, on behalf of concerned citizens, will be presenting a petition with regards to failure of Insurance Regulatory Authority, that is IRA, to protect public transport operators on insurance claims. This is a petition that will be presented by the Honorable Member Caleb Mule, of course, pursuant to the provisions of the House Standing Order. But as you can see, that is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Boss, already in the chambers. She will be presiding over this afternoon sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast that is brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Sergeant at Arms, you can ring the bell for 5 minutes.
The prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, the House is facing a quorum hitch. At least 50 members need to be seated inside the chambers at the commencement of House business. But that directive by the Speaker for the quorum bell to be rung indicates that that quorum has not been achieved yet, and that bell will be on for the members to be able to make their way into the chambers. The sergeant at arms are also keeping tabs with the numbers. Once that quorum is achieved, then we will be able to begin the business over today's afternoon sitting. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, paragraph 2C, where members, all right, that is the sergeant at arms indicating to the clerk and speaker that the quorum has been achieved. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. My name is Kamche Menza. Good afternoon.
Honorable members, let us proceed. First order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages.
Honorable members, I have a message from the Senate on approval of Mr. David Kibet Kemei for the appointment as the Director General of Competition Authority. Honorable members, pursuant to provision Standing Order 41.4 of the National Assembly Standing Orders relating to messages from the Senate, I wish to report to the House that on the 4th of October 2024, I received a message from the Senate regarding approval of a nominee for the appointment as the Director General of the Competition Authority. The message conveys that the Senate, on its sittings of Thursday, 3rd October 2024, adopted the report of the joint sittings and approved the nomination of Mr. David Kibet Kemei for appointment as Director General of the Competition Authority, end of quote. Honorable members, the approval hearings for the nominee of Director General were jointly conducted by the respective committees of both Houses of Parliament. As you may recall, on Tuesday, 1st October 2024, the National Assembly considered the report of the Joint Committee and approved the said nominee for appointment as Director General of the Competition Authority. Honorable members, the approval by the Senate now concludes the bicameral consideration of the proposed appointment. I am informed that the decision of the Houses of Parliament has now since been transmitted to the appointing authority for necessary action. The House is accordingly informed. Thank you.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, October 15, 2024. 1. Legal notice number 147 of 2024 relating to the Social Health Insurance Amendment, Regulations 2024, and the tariffs for the healthcare services under the Social Health Insurance Act. Number 2, the annual corporate report of the Office of the Auditor General for the financial year 2023-2024. Number 3, report of the Auditor General and financial statement of the Kenya National Insurance Company 2001 Limited for the year ended 31st December 2023. And 4, report of the Auditor General and financial statement of Public Service Superannuation Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay.
I think we also have a paper by the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Who is representing the chair or the vice chairperson, Honorable Emase? You may proceed.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 13th October 2024. The report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on its consideration of the Senate amendment to the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly, Bill number 38 of 2024. And I lay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next paper is from the chairperson of the Mediation Committee. You may proceed, Honorable Kangogo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 15 October 2024. The report of the Mediation Committee on the Water Amendment Bill, the National Assembly Bill, number 33 of 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
The chairperson, you have a notice of motion. Chairperson for the Mediation Committee, Honorable Kangogo.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion. That pursuant to the provisions of Article 113, subsection 2 of the Constitution, understanding Order 150, subsection 3, the House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the Water Amendment Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2023, laid on the table of the House Tuesday, 15 October 2024, and approves the mediation version of the Water Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2023. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And honorable members, permit me, before we go to the next order, which is order number 7, it has just come to my attention that under order number 4, there was actually a petition by the honorable member for Machakos Town, Honorable Caleb Mule, which was omitted by mistake. So I'll give you a chance. Honorable Mule, are you ready? You may proceed. Thank you. Then we shall go back to order number 7 after this.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's on the public petition number 17 of 2024 regarding the failure of Insurance Regulatory Authority to protect public transport operators on insurance claims. I, the undersigned, on behalf of Machakos Matatu Owners Association, MAMOA, draw the attention of the House that MAMOA represents over 4,000 public service vehicles operating in the lower eastern region of Kenya. The association and its members have constantly complied with all relevant laws governing the public transport industry. That the Insurance Regulatory Authority is mandated by the Insurance Act to, among others, formulate and enforce standards for the conduct of insurance and reinsurance business in the country. That the grievances by the operators stem from the recurring and persistent financial losses they suffer caused by insurance companies that fail to uphold their legal and contractual obligations. That although all vehicles fully comply with the required terms and conditions for partnership with insurance company, they have been unjustly subjected to severe economic hardship, leading to the loss of property and livelihood. That the following insurance companies regulated by the IRA have consistently refused to honor claims from operators in the event of accidents, namely Invesco, Amaco, direct line insurance companies. That despite payment of monthly premiums for these insurance companies, securing compensation for accident victims have proven extremely difficult due to inefficiency and ineffectiveness of the aforementioned insurers. That in many cases of accident involving their fleet, these operators face double expenses because despite paying premiums, they are forced to compensate accident victims themselves contrary to the legal framework. That these issues have plagued them to decades and have been perpetuated by the regulator's failure to exercise its legal mandate to regulate the insurance companies mentioned. That in addition to failing to honor claims, these insurance companies have not provided legal representation in pending court cases when needed, leading to defeat of many accident cases in court due to absence of legal representation. That Mamoa has suffered irreparable harm due to the failure of these insurance companies to honor claims, resulting into more than 10 of our members now facing court orders to show cause why they should not be committed to civil jail for failing to compensate accident victims. And that the issue in respect of which this petition is raised are not pending before any court of law, any constitutional or any legal body. Therefore, our humble petitioners pray that the National Assembly, through the Public Petitions Committee, intervenes on behalf of the operators and urgently address the issues surrounding the compensations and valid accident claims by the aforementioned insurance companies. Recommends that the Insurance Regulatory Authority formulates and enforces standards and conducts for insurance companies. Recommends that IRA compels insurance companies to honor all pending claims to protect the public transport industry, considering the virtual role public transport plays in revenue generations in the country, and make any other recommendations or action it deems fit in addressing the plinth of the petitioners. And your petitioners will ever pray. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And this particular matter is going to be referred to the Public Petitions Committee. Is the chairperson of the Public Petitions Committee here? The vice chair is here. Yes, Honorable Janet Citiene. How many weeks do you need? I didn't hear you. Give her the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We will handle the matter as a committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I think they're asking about time frame because it's a bit urgent.
Honorable Speaker, we have other petitions scheduled, but we will fast track accordingly so that we'll give him within 2 weeks. We'll put him on the schedule of listening to the petition. Thank you.
Thank you. So, honorable members, we move back from order number 4 and revert back to order number 7. So we can go to the next order. Order number 7.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, we have statements, and the first one will be a statement by the member for Isiolo County, Honorable Mumina Bonaya. Honorable Mumina Bonaya is not present. Okay, we'll proceed to the next one. Request for statement by the Honorable Prontos Akuja, member for Loima. Is the member for Loima present to seek his question? That will pass then that one. The next statement, request for statement is by the Honorable Joseph Lekuton, member for Laisamis. Member for Laisamis is present. Let him have the mic. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44's subsection C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the submersion of learning institutions due to rising water levels in Lake Turkana. Honorable Speaker, for generations, Lake Turkana has been a vital resource for the people's economic and cultural well-being, with fishing being their primary source of livelihoods. Regrettably, over the past 4 years, Honorable Speaker, the rising water levels in Lake Turkana have led to the closure of a number of learning institutions as they have been submerged. This has greatly impacted not only the residents' way of life, but also the educational opportunities for their children. The rise in water levels has adversely disrupted students from learning further. And further, Madam Speaker, this has led to a reduction in attendance of learners to schools, hence negatively affecting the gains made towards enhancing access to basic education. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I seek to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following: a detailed report on the number of schools and students who have been affected by this submersion, urgent measures being put in place to ensure all affected students are able to attend schools, including steps taken to relocate submerged schools and provisions of temporary classrooms and offices to enable learning to continue, and plans put in place to ensure candidates are able to undertake their exams in October 2024. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The chairperson for the Committee on Education, or a member who's present to give an undertaking on behalf of the community. Honorable Melly, I couldn't see you. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll give a response.
Do you have go to the mic?
Yes. I'm saying I'll give a response in 2 weeks' time.
Okay. Thank you, chairperson. Next is a request for a statement by the Honorable Joshua Kandiye, member for Baringo. You may proceed, Honorable Kandiye.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor regarding the role of Ministry of Labor and Social Protection in regulating labor migration through private recruitment agencies, and whether the State Department of Diaspora Affairs has encroached on their roles. Honorable Speaker, labor migration has immense socio-economic benefits to both countries of origin and destination. It is a source of employment and livelihoods for migrant workers, bridges skill gaps in destination countries, supports skill development and technology transfer, and a source of much needed remittance in the migrants' workers' countries of origin. Honorable Speaker, over the years, Kenya has continued to experience migration of its citizens to different parts of the world, including Europe, United States of America, Asia, Latin America, Canada, Australia, Middle East, and the Gulf region, with the bulk being the youths who are seeking employment opportunities in international markets where their skills are in demand. This trend underscores the importance of efficiently managing labor migration while ensuring the protection of Kenyan migrant workers. Honorable Speaker, despite the significant significant benefits accrued by the country from labor migration, the sector still faces a number of challenges, which include weak coordination of labor migration, management, inadequate information on labor migration, inadequate policy and legal framework on labor migration, limited bilateral migration agreements, inadequate social protection for migrant workers, inadequate regulatory framework for private recruitment agencies, and high cost of remittance. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor on the following. What are the roles of the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection in registration and regulation of private recruitment agencies involved in labor migration? 2, how does the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection work together with the State Department for Diaspora in regulating the labor migration sector, while ensuring the State Department does not encroach on the roles of the ministry? 3, why and how do private agencies banned by the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection continue to recruit migrant workers? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. And this particular statement is been referred to the Departmental Committee for Labor. A member of the committee, as I see the chairperson is not here. Is the chairperson here? Any other member of the committee? In that case, then I will let the representative of the Leader of Majority, Honorable Naomi Wako, you shall ensure that this gets to the Committee for Labor.
Yes, I will do that, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, let's proceed. We have another request for a statement by the Honorable Member for Funyula, Honorable Dr. Awundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands regarding the status of the Register of Government Lands as provided for under the various land laws of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, after Section 97 of the Government Lands Act Cap 28 was repealed, it was replaced by Land Registration Act. The Register of Government Lands established under the now repealed Section 97 of the Government Lands Act became a register as provided for under Section 104.1 and Section 105.1c of the Land Registration Act. Additionally, the Constitution classified land in Kenya as public land, community land, and private land. Article 62.1 further defines public land to include an alienated government land, land lawfully held, used or occupied by any state organ, land in respect of which no individual community ownership can be established by any legal process. Honorable Speaker, despite the provisions of the Constitution, the country has been indebted by reported cases of unclear acquisition and encroachment of public land. In other cases, private individuals have acquired titles to public land without following the provisions of Section 9 of the Land Act. Several audit reports by various committees of Parliament have found cases of unaccountable public land and public entities not knowing the extent of their land holdings, not having any ownership documents. This has resulted in loss of public property, conflicts, and rampant cases of demolition. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson, the Departmental Committee on Lands, on the following. Number one, the current number of titles and parcels of land and the total number of government lands appearing in the defunct Register of Government Lands that was transitioned to the new land register as provided for under Section 104.1 and Section 105.1c of the Land Registration Act number 3 of 2012. Number two, the changes, if any, in the number of titles of public land and acreage in the period between 2012 and 2022. Number three, whether there is a designated registrar for public lands among those appointed under Section 12 of the Land Registration Act number 3 of 2012. And finally, plans in place to ensure the registration details of public land are made known and available to the members of the public as provided for under Section 10 of the Land Registration Act number 3 of 2012 and Access of Information Act number 31 of 2016. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The matter is, the statement is referred to the Committee for Lands. Is the chairperson of the Lands Committee here? Again, Honorable Naomi Wako, you'll take a note of that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I undertake that because the members has raised a weight issue, we need about 4 weeks as a committee to reply or to respond to that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's noted. And now I think the Honorable Member for Loima is back, and therefore I'll give him an opportunity to also request for his statement. Honorable Prontas Akuja.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to request for a statement regarding the school feeding program in public primary schools in pastoralist communities. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the school feeding program by the National Council for Nomadic Education, NACONEC. Honorable Speaker, the National Council for Nomadic Education in Kenya, NACONEC, is a semi-autonomous agency established under the Ministry of Education with the mandate of initiating the development, implementation, and review of policies in all matters regarding to education in ASAL areas. The Council mobilizes funds and other resources from various sources in order to support relevant programs, including school feeding program in nomadic regions. The school feeding program was designed to promote education by increasing school enrollment, improving the health of school-going children, and enhancing overall academic performance. However, it is deeply concerning the public primary schools in ASAL areas, specifically in Loima constituency in Turkana County, are facing an acute shortage of food supply since the commencement of the current term, which has been a recurring problem. Honorable Speaker, this situation is particularly alarming given that grade 3 and grade 6 candidates are expected to sit for their national assessment soon. Many vulnerable children who are motivated by availability of food in schools have been forced to drop out of school. The shortage severely undermines the welfare of the learners and has a negative impact on the education sector in the region. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. One, reason for the persistent delay of food supply on public primary schools in ASAL regions. Number two, report on assessment of NACONEC's capacity to meet the educational needs of marginalized communities, including any challenges the agency might be facing. Number three, plans for immediate intervention to ensure timely supply of food to the affected schools. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, the request for statement will be forwarded to the chairperson of the Education Committee. Honorable Melly, you may give an undertaking.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I give an undertaking that I shall bring the report back to the House in 2 weeks. But Madam Speaker, on the issue of El Molo, and because the examination process is actually due or has started already, I promise to undertake that I bring the report before Thursday, especially on the examination issue. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, before we continue with the request for statements, I wish to recognize the presence of the following schools seated at the public gallery: prestigious Vineyard Academy from Embakasi East Constituency, Nairobi County. Also St. Dominic Kitise Secondary School from Makueni Constituency, Makueni County. And lastly, Njumbi Primary School from Mathioya constituency, Muranga County. On behalf of the National Assembly, I wish to welcome them to the House. Thank you. Next, we have a statement by the Honorable Doris Donya, member for Kisii.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There's something I want to note. Today, for the first time, I bought the newspaper, and I saw the petrol prices have gone down by 8 shillings. Diesel has gone down by 3 bob or 3 shillings. And kerosene has gone down by 9 shillings. What by 6 shillings, that is now like 7 shillings, because it is 6.9. I was not good in math, but this 6.9 could be 7. Madam Speaker, I was just discussing with the Honorable Clive. I was telling him I've seen prices go up. When prices go up, those of us who use matatu, the fares hike. They hike. That is maybe from 2015. Now the prices have gone down. I was telling, I don't see a day when I will wake up and find the prices of transport have gone down, now that most of the transportation vehicles are using diesel. I wanted to note the government is doing good work, but customers down here, we are not feeling the goodness of these prices going down. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
That matter, I think, will be responded to by the chairperson of the committee, Transport Committee. Any member of the Transport Committee here? Honorable Milema, you want to say something? Honorable Dawood? It's very valid.
Madam Speaker, it will have to be after the recess because we're going on recess. So after recess, another week or 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dawood. Honorable Milema, you said you have a statement? You are not on the list.
But I've been
Is it a response to a statement or the statement?
The statement itself.
Okay, I will allow you. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. A request for a statement regarding the sporadic attacks occurring in the Muhaya constituency and Vihiga County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the sporadic attacks occurring in the Muhaya constituency and Vihiga County in general. Honorable Speaker, several gangs armed with assailants have been using motorcycles to conduct theft by attacking residents and pedestrians along the markets and roads of the Muhaya constituency. The gangs have been using weapons such as machete or crude blunt objects to rob people of their belongings and injure them severely. The rampant cases of insecurity are specifically common along the Luanda-Ebuyangu to Yala Road, Humusalaba Emusutsui to Stendikisa Road, and on Esirulo to Luanda Road. Honorable Speaker, it is unfortunate that several persons who have been attacked along these areas are either dead or admitted in hospital due to severe injuries sustained. For instance, on 2nd of October 2024, that's this month, an armed assailants with guns attacked and killed Mr. Nicodemus Olinjo Abuyeka of ID number 290000828, who was a businessman and boda rider from Esaba village in the Muhaya sub-county. Additionally, a Miss Diana Mamamboga, vendor at Luanda Market, was killed on 24th September 2024, while 2 other people, namely Eli Mukuna and Mr. Anthony, were attacked by the armed assailants at Sokomoko and have been hospitalized due to severe injuries that they sustained. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. That 1, a status report on investigations into the killing of Nicodemus Olinjo Abuyeka from a Saba village in the Muhaya constituency, Vihiga County, which was reported at Mbali Police Station on OB number 23/02/10/2024, and if any arrests of the assailants have been made by the police. And 2, the measures put in place by the government to ensure deployment of additional officers to police stations in the Muhaya constituency to enhance security, including the timeline for deployment. Honorable Speaker, I add to indicate that this is not the first time I'm asking this, that in the so-said constituency of Muhaya we have 4 police posts and 1 main police station that is not occupied. That is 1, the sub-county headquarters at Msire, not occupied despite the fact it's finished. Then we have a Buhaya police post not occupied, a Murembe not occupied, and Ipali not occupied. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That request for a statement is referred to the Committee for Administration and Internal Security. Is the chairperson present? Yes, Honorable Tongoyo.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. I will bring the response in 2 weeks, but I want to add one thing. On the issue of constructed and completed police stations, as indicated by the Honorable Member, that has got no personnel, I think it's an issue that we can follow up with him, with the IG. Does not have to wait even the 2 weeks when we bring the issue of incidents of death and killings.
All right, thank you very much. Now we proceed to get the responses from the statements that have previously been placed before the House. The first one was the answer to the statement by Honorable Wario, member for North Hor. Do you have a response, the Honorable Tongoyo, on that one?
Honorable Speaker, on the question being asked which was asked by Honorable Wario on the issue of North Hor, this issue was canvassed and actually discussed in depth with the CS Interior when he appeared before the committee last. And actually there even a lot of progress, because even the meeting with the leaders of that region has been already taken place. So as such, I have the response, but I prefer maybe to table it as being a document of the House. But we had already discussed it.
Thank you. Let's move to the next response, which is still with you. The one by the answer to the statement by member for Igembe Central, Honorable Caritho.
Thank you once again, Honorable Speaker. I don't know, Honorable Speaker, I need your indulgence, whether the concerned Honorable Member is in the House.
Is Honorable Daniel Caritho in the House? So I think there's no point responding to it if you are not here. And Honorable Members, I see that today there are many members who sought to give a statement and they are not present. Then in other cases, the chairpersons are missing. So I think the substantive speaker has pronounced himself severally on this issue. We move to the next one, is a response to the statement by the Honorable Wamboka, member for Bumula. Do you have a response, Chairperson for Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Affairs?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, I do have a response. And my response is as follows. Madam Speaker, the member of Bumula constituency, Honorable Wanami Wamboka, sought for a statement pursuant to Standing Order 42, 2C, on the disparities in the Kenya Defence Forces recruitment. He specifically raised the following concerns in his request. Number one, the reasons behind the rampant irregularities during KDF recruitment. Number two is a comprehensive list of youth who were recruited in the last recruitment per sub-county, including those who claimed to have hailed from Bumula constituency. And number three, steps taken by the ministry to ensure that future recruitment processes are fair and transparent. Madam Speaker, the committee engaged the Ministry of Defense and above concerns by Honorable Wanami Wamboka, on the above concerns by Honorable Wanami Wamboka, and I therefore wish to respond to the issues as follows. Number one, on the reasons behind the rampant irregularities during KDF recruitment. Factors contributing to the perceived prevalence of irregularities during KDF recruitment include the systematic and cultural tendencies within segments of population that seeks to manipulate the process through various methods, including bribery, extortion, and intimidation. The ministry upholds a strict zero-tolerance policy regarding such conduct. And question number two, on a comprehensive list of youth that were recruited in the last recruitment per sub-county, including those who claimed to have hailed from Bumula constituency. The response will be, Madam Speaker, in the most recent KDF recruitment drive carried out in 2023, 14 individuals from Bumula constituency were recruited, 12 male and 2 female. Number three, steps taken by the ministry to ensure that future recruitment processes are fair and transparent. The response will be, the ministry continues to ensure that KDF recruitments remain a fair and transparent process through civic sensitization and mass media information to curb recurrent malpractices. I submit and I thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker.
Honorable Wamboka, are you satisfied with the response?
Honorable Speaker, definitely not. The gist of this question was that people were recruited in Bumula constituency and they do not come from Bumula constituency. I went and engaged my administrative officers, the chief, Madam Lucy Magoha, for instance, Assistant Chief Ruben, and all the village elders. They do not know any one person who was recruited from Kimaeti sub-county. And that is the gist of this question. What I expected from the chair, who is my good friend and my namesake, is that you give me the names that you purport were recruitees of Bumula constituency, which you have not. Mr. Chairman, number two, on a comprehensive, just a minute. My question number two was a comprehensive list of the youth that were recruited. How do you understand that question, Honorable Chair? Honorable Speaker, this clearly, the chairman is trying to hide something. He knows the truth that Bumula was disadvantaged, just like many other constituencies in this republic, and he's trying to cover it up. Please do not politicize the military of Kenya. It may be the only thing that is remaining professionally in this republic. We want fairness. We want every corner of this country, every sub-county to feel part and parcel of that institution. So, Honorable Speaker, of course my question was not answered. I do not have the list. I need to see the list so that I disapprove the chairman that those people he has in the name of Bumula constituency do not come from Bumula constituency. Thank you.
Do you have an answer, Honorable Koech? One more. Okay, allow, you have a point of order, Honorable Milema?
Thank you. On a point of order, just to emphasize, I'm sorry, Honorable Speaker, what is said. It's a matter that the chair can take very seriously. Because I had a similar situation. And I have to explain it well, Honorable Speaker. when our former senior colleague was still under that particular ministry. And the names of the people who were recruited in the armed forces, Honorable Speaker, from Emuhaya, were not from Emuhaya. And you know that it's so glaring, it has to be said, that even the officers working under the provincial administration, Ngao, they know that some syndicate somewhat is happening where these names can be mopped up and be fitted from a certain constituency and go away. So at the end of the day, the celebrated quota, Honorable Speaker, which would want all departments to adopt, whether it's the Ministry of Roads, the Ministry of Energy, and now the armed forces, police, and even the NYS, Chair, is not being followed, and therefore that emphasis should make you, as you go back to look at your research, to look at the holistic picture in many of our constituencies. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Koech, Chairperson.
Madam Speaker, now that two members have raised this issue, let me first say that maybe, Honorable Wamboka, it would have been easier if you had given me the names of those you think are not from your constituency. But number two, as a matter of concern, because now it looks like it touches on most members of parliament, I'll take a step further to make sure that as members are requesting that there might have been recruitment that have been done in different sub-counties, but the names really are not from those sub-counties, to make sure that that anomaly is worked on, because whatever has happened now, and make sure that in future recruitments, if it is for Emuhaya, for instance, we make sure that all the 14 names, like has been provided now, are from that constituency as indicated. Because it will be a lie then to say you are, for instance, going to have recruitment in Bumula and go and get people from Shinyalu, register in Bumula and be employed from Bumula. So I will take that matter up. And if Honorable Wamboka has more questions in regards to that and the names as he's requesting, I will then put the question to him, which of the names of the 14 that were recruited are not from his constituency.
Member from Bumula, do you have the list? You were given the list.
Honorable Speaker, National Assembly has asked the ministry to provide the names of the people they recruited in Bumula constituency. For crying out loud, why is the chairman passing back the ball to me? Because he knows he cannot produce those names, Honorable Speaker. And now, the chairman says, this is now a bygone, that it has passed. I find that too unreasonable, Honorable Speaker, because this is how constituencies, different constituencies have been missing out, while others continue employing more people. It beats logic, Madam Speaker. Why would you pick children from Garissa constituency, for instance, and come and recruit them through Bumula constituency? Why would you pick Kiambu children to come and recruit them through Emuhaya constituency? And now that he is admitting that it has happened, what measures do we have to put in place to ensure that those constituencies who suffered are restituted? What do we do to ensure that the missing slots that Bumula has been experiencing has them? What do we do, Mr. Chairman? What do we do? And this is not just 2023. This goes down to so many years of recruitment that some constituencies have not been producing children in the military. That is why, Honorable Speaker, you realize that the military is continually being politicized. That you cannot feel part and parcel of this country because of such things. The net effect, Honorable Speaker, of not recruiting children from every constituency, it means that progressively, when these people grow up the ladder, when they climb above that ladder, when they reach promotions, we will not have children from Emuhaya, from Bumula getting promoted. when now it gets to leadership of the military, you will not get people from those regions getting positions of military, of leadership in the military. And it is so unfair. It goes against the Constitution of Kenya, Honorable Speaker.
So
the chairman is out of order. Can he tell this House when is he producing the names of the people who are recruited from Bumula constituency? Yeah, he's out of order. Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. And could you please take this House serious?
That's my prerogative, Honorable Wamboka, to declare him out of order, not yourself. But I'll give Honorable Russo who has a point of order, and then I'll come to you, Honorable Koech.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleague who has just raised this very important question, he said the military is politicized. I think that is far from the truth. The military has recruitment centers. And even with the new sub-counties coming up, then it means there are more recruiting centers that are coming up in the military. But what is important and what he has raised is those recruiting officers in those recruiting centers must identify those young men and women who are coming to be recruited, that they actually come from those locations and sub-locations within that sub-county. I think what the honorable member from Bumula has suffered is potentially people moving from different places because of population or because of looking that it is easier to get employed or recruited there. But I believe the honorable chair has a task to make sure that the few who are being recruited from different sub-counties and constituencies are actually the bona fide residents of those areas, so that no area is unfairly disadvantaged. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I think the Honorable Chairperson, maybe it's easier that if you can't read out the names here, you can always provide them. Yes, provide them to the member, and then you can then come back and report to the House. And
I think, let me just, Honorable Wamboka, don't be emotional about it. I understand your pain, and I really understand your concern. Madam Speaker, it is also not fair for me to bring the names of all the recruits that were picked from Bumula constituency. It is only fair if you said you want to engage with the Ministry of Defense to understand how it was done in Bumula constituency, and they can do it in private. Because also, these are Kenyans, these are people, and it is important that we keep them as private as possible. So I understand your pain, and I want to promise you that I will deal with it. And if I beg your indulgence, if you accept, I'll take the matter up and proceed and request the Ministry of Defense to invite you to explain to you how the recruitment was done in your constituency.
I think we have belabored this point, Honorable Wamboka. Yes. Honorable Wamboka, I'm helping you here so that you can get a resolution. Honorable Wamboka, I will help you get a resolution. Usually, the names are published in the dailies. Isn't that right? Honorable Chairperson, the names are normally published in the dailies. Per constituency? Let's proceed, Honorable Wamboka. I'll give you a minute before we... Okay, there's a point of order here, Honorable Wamboka. Honorable Wamboka, before you proceed, Honorable Wamboka, I'll give you a chance to proceed. Let's take the point of order from Honorable Pukosa, then we'll come to you.
Okay. Madam Speaker, I need guidance from your chair because military is a very sensitive and it deals with the security of this country. Exposing the names of the military officers publicly affects the integrity and the security of the nation. And I think, yes, I think saying that you want the names from all over the country, I think we are playing into a very dangerous game. And therefore, if we want to speak, if we want to be specific to Bumula alone, then that can be at that.
Yes. And Honorable Wamboka, what we were saying is, and which is what the chairperson offered, is that you can have a meeting with him as representative of the people of Bumula, engage with the military, go through that list, and give them sufficient facts to confirm that those persons are not from Bumula constituency. I am sure that going forward, they shall ensure that the next recruitment will ensure that people from Bumula will be taken. So I think that way your problem will be resolved.
No.
Because I think at the end of the day, you just want to be able to prove to them that those persons are not from Bumula and ensure that going forward, they shall have a better system of counter-checking where persons can be declared to come from Bumula. And I think that is something that can be resolved. And then you can later come back to the House and confirm that the matter has been resolved. Is that not the... Are you happy with that?
Give me the mic. Honorable Speaker, I have a problem. When the chairman of Defense Committee wants to hide behind your chair, this is the National Assembly. These people were recruited publicly and during the day. Honorable Speaker, this is the National Assembly. There is no other house that is supreme, more supreme than this house. Honorable Speaker, that the Ministry of Defense went and recruited, in the name of recruiting people from Bumula, brought other people. And that is the reason why he has not given those names, Honorable Speaker. And it is a question addressed to him. Why should I have to go to meet the minister in camera? No, I refuse to do so. This is the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, we have asked the chairman to produce the people that were purportedly recruited in the Bumula constituency. It is period. We have honorable members who are also have the same problem, Honorable Speaker. My next problem, Madam Speaker, is that we just move forward like that. How? How do we move forward when constituency A has 20 people in the recruitment, while constituency Bumula B has 0? Continually, Bumula is disenfranchised. We cannot proceed like that, Honorable Speaker. And that is why we are saying we will not go to see the minister. The chair has to give the names of those people that were recruited in this house. This question was asked in this house, Honorable Speaker.
I think the chairperson is not saying he won't give the names. He's just saying it's prejudicial to make the names public, considering they are already in the military. That was the issue that he was raising. What's your point of order, Honorable Farah?
Mr. Speaker, Wamboka is my very good friend. But my point of order is this. And for the benefit of the House itself, you cannot discuss anything to do with ordinances, the weapons, the number of forces we have, the names of anything of our security forces. That is a strategic matter. Order. It's a... That... Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Allow him, Honorable
My point of order.
Just allow him to prosecute. You'll have a chance to respond. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, you will have an opportunity to respond.
My point of order. Mr. Speaker, can I explain? Can I explain?
Honorable Wamboka. Order, honorable members. Honorable Wamboka, we've given you so much. Hold on. Honorable Wamboka, we have given you great opportunity to prosecute your case. We are still prosecuting your case. You have not been gagged. Honorable Clive, if you have something to say, you can rise on a point of order and speak to it, but not heckle from your seats, because that way we will not make progress. He's allowed to give, let each member say their part. then we can proceed, whether you disagree with it. Because how would you feel, Honorable Clive, when you will want to say something, if other people agree and heckle, how will you feel? Let everyone have their say. It doesn't necessarily mean that other people can speak and others cannot. So proceed, Honorable Farah.
Can I have it? I am not in any way negating what somebody feels should be done. But I'm talking from the traditions of the House. If you want to discuss a matter that's of national security, you seek an appointment, you have the House in camera. And only then, listen, we have a nation and a sovereign state called Kenya, which belongs to all of us. There is no way in the world. No, I am on a point of, can I finish my point of order? You cannot discuss, and you are lucky because if I was on the chair there, I would throw you out if you insist on that. Thank you.
Honorable Chairperson of the committee, because that's the person whose the question was directed at. Proceed. Honorable Elachi, stand down. No, I'm not giving you an opportunity.
I have listened to members.
I have given this position to the chairperson.
Let's end it there. I want to promise that I will invite all the members that have issues with the recruitment before the committee. It will be held in camera, like has been said by the Deputy Speaker, and I think all the issues that you've raised will be dealt with at that point.
Okay, let us proceed. We already have a conclusion. Yes, it's. Honorable Karoli, what did you want to say? I know you had your hand up earlier.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think we are not being very judicious in the way we are handling this matter. We are dealing with recruitment. We are not dealing with military operations. We are dealing with a process that is guaranteed under Article 10, our national values of transparency and accountability. Article 35, Article 231, 1J of our Constitution guarantees, and Section 18 of Parliamentary Powers and Privileges gives this House the power to ask for the information that the honorable members asked. We cannot hide behind mere statements. There is nothing posing security risk to the Republic of Kenya by disclosing the names of the people who are recruited under fraudulent circumstances. Actually, a crime has been committed, and this House cannot shield commission of a crime. When you deny people their rightful chance to be recruited in KDF in their sub-counties by importing other people and then claiming that there is some security issue about it. A crime has been committed. It is fraud.
Okay,
and this House has the power to...
Honorable Karoli, you are speaking as if it has already been confirmed that a fraud did take place. There's been an allegation by Honorable Wamboka. What we want to do is try and confirm that what Honorable Wamboka is saying is correct. Then only at that time shall the names be brought out in public. So we've given an opportunity for the matter to be resolved between the concerned sub-counties and the security forces. And Honorable Karoli, we're not talking about ongoing recruitment, we are talking about post-recruitment. These are persons who have already been recruited. So Honorable Karoli, shut up, Honorable Karoli, please. I've said that the matter, we are trying to get a situation, honorable members. Oh yes, my apologies, because he has been shouting. Honorable members, we are working towards a resolution which will allow the names to come to the House. We are not directly allowing the names now until some preliminary investigations and gathering of information has happened. And Honorable Karoli, you were speaking even when I hadn't given you the mic. So you are out of order. That's why I could use that language on you. So let us proceed. Honorable Wamboka, your matter is under investigation. We have not closed the matter. It will come back to the House. So even now, if we proceed to discuss it, we are only speculating. Can we get an opportunity when actual facts, absent of speculations, can be brought to the House? And I will rule that this matter shall be brought back to the House after further consultations with the committee. That is the end of this matter. Let's move to the next order. I think there was a statement, an answer to the statement by that came from Honorable Titus Lotte. What is your point of order? I didn't know you have a point of order. Honorable Omolo Otiende, don't be angry. You don't have to get upset. I didn't know it was a point of order. I thought you were part of the heckling. Okay, proceed with your point of order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I respect your ruling and guidance. Since the point of order is directed for your guidance, Madam Speaker, I respect your ruling and guidance that the matter will be discussed further. There's only one problem, that, Madam Speaker, you are leaving it at a point where the chair has said that they will invite Honorable Wamboka and any other member with an issue to the committee. That's the problem. Madam Speaker, when a member poses a question here and many members find it affects them, usually they await the answer instead of everyone bringing the same question. So we were awaiting the answer on this. Madam Speaker, it is grossly inaccurate for the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Second Deputy Speaker Malim, to misguide the House, and it goes unchallenged. There is nothing in the KDF Act that prevents a disclosure of the names of persons who are recruited. The same way, Madam Speaker, before deployment of our forces anywhere, it's usually brought to this House to approve. There are things that cannot be disclosed, but recruitment is not one of them. We are just in a process where this House impeached the Deputy President for such practices. How can we then say that we do not want, and when we want to know how people have been recruited, then it is secret? We want to know, not just the KDF, not just the police, not just the teachers, all of us, because we represent constituencies. The answers should always be brought here. Madam Speaker, I urge you, in line with your ruling, to guide that when the matter comes back, the chair should be prepared to indicate for all of us, for our benefit, who was recruited in which constituency. You know, we are not even going to the issue of how many people do we have in the defense forces. We are only talking about the last recruitment. What is secret about that? What is the national security on Hambosoro, knowing that my constituent was not recruited in his constituency by fraud, and vice versa? It is accountability. It is in line with Article 47 of the Constitution. The Access to Information Act actually requires that such information should be availed even before it is sought. So when it is sought, I'm afraid that the chair of the committee ought to bring it to us. I so humbly submit, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I think let us stay focused that this issue is relating to a matter that was raised by the Honorable Member for Bumula. The Honorable Member for Bumula has raised very serious concerns. We have said, let us find a methodology that is easy and efficient for him to get his answer accurately. That's why we are going in this direction. And we have said, we are not closing the matter. The matter shall be reported back to the House at the appropriate time. So we are not closing it. So right now, yes, that's now a valid question. What are the timelines? So the Honorable Chairperson for the Departmental Committee for Defense should tell us when can you, and I think if other sub-counties have an issue with it, that can be raised at a later date by those particular sub-counties. Let us start with Bumula constituency. If in the event that we find that Bumula constituency had challenges, when the chairperson reports, then we can now go step by step to other sub-counties. But let us confirm that there is, in fact, a problem. Then we can now deal with how to deal with a larger policy situation in this. So that way we will have a better chance of being able to go to a resolution rather than talk shop here and find no solution at the end of the day. So the only answer I will entertain on this point now is from the chairperson to tell us how long, so that there is a time frame, and you will come back to report to the House. Are you satisfied, Honorable Wamboka, with that? Yes. Yes, timelines. Proceed.
When we resume, Madam Speaker, if you will be adjourning on Thursday, I want to say immediately we resume 2 weeks after, if that is okay with the Honorable.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Member for Muhaya, you did not bring a statement, but I am told that it's because your neighboring constituencies, it will probably touch on your constituency also. But we are not opening it up for other people to bring their grievances. They have their own individual opportunity to bring a statement on behalf of their constituents. And no, I will not entertain a point of order on this particular point, unless you have a point of order on something else. And since we haven't gone to the next order, you actually have there is no point of order, because we have closed this matter. Let us proceed. And I think there was a response to the question or statement by the Honorable Titus Lotte, member for Kachiliba. It's supposed to be answered by the Committee on Administration and Internal Security. Honorable Tongoya, you have that? It's the last response.
Yes, I do, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know whether the concerned Honorable member is in the House also.
Yes, Honorable Lotte is present. Yes, you
Okay.
may proceed.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the member of Kacheliba constituency, Honorable Titus Lotte, had requested for a statement regarding insecurity in his constituency, and the member was concerned by a banditry attack at Kases village in Kasai ward, which had led to a death of 2 women. And in particular, the member wanted a detailed account of the attack and the current status of the investigation into the matter. Particularly the killing of Miss Chemket Logolenyang and Miss Cheposangil Rengeyei. Additionally, the member also wanted to know the additional resources or support being provided to strengthen the capacity of security personnel in the Kases village and Kacheliba constituency. And also wanted to know a report on the immediate and long-term measures being taken by the government. Honorable Speaker, I state as follows. On 25th July 2024, about five armed Turkana bandits raided the Nadome village with the aim of stealing livestock, but were repulsed by the National Police Reservist. However, as the bandits fled toward Lorogon, they shot and killed 2 women, Miss Chemkat Logolenyag and the one Miss Cherosangel Rengeyei, who were engaging in a small-scale gold mining activities in the nearby valley. The police officers responded to the scene, and in pursuit of the bandits, no arrests were made, but the bodies of the deceased were removed to Kapenguria County Referral Hospital for preservation and postmortem, and the bodies were later released to the families for burial. And the case is still pending. The case is still under investigation by the timing of this report, the writing of this report. Honorable Speaker, the government has taken the following measures to strengthen the capacity of security personnel. The government has deployed 50 National Police Reservist officers within that area, revitalized the Peace Committee, which bring together elders from both communities to formulate means of sustainable peace and security in the area. On issue number 3, Honorable Speaker, the government has taken several measures to include measures to address the recurring banditry attack to enhance security in Kacheliba, and of course, in this case, the entire valley region. Intensifying police visibility through patrols, sensitization of the members of the public, engaging the political class across the ethnic divides and empowering on them to enhance peaceful coexistence, sustaining coordination of NPR to enhance their supervision and effectiveness in their operation, collaboration with the various stakeholders, including local leaders and NGOs, to coordinate meetings between communities living along the borders, and sustaining joint security meetings along the borders, and of course organizing major security operations whenever there is an incident. Honorable Speaker, the government is taking long-term measures to enhance security in Kacheliba, to include opening up of disturbed areas through construction of security roads, construction of schools, hospitals, and market to prepare the locals for alternative job and livelihood. Increased budgetary allocation to police operation in the operational areas, that is to include the the modernization program, posting and equipping adequate security personnel, and operationalization of the gazetted new Ombolioni location to help improve coordination of security in the disturbed area. Creation of more administrative unit given the harsh terrain and fastness of the area and the population notwithstanding. And admission establishment of the police station at Ombolion. Affirmative action for education. The government is planning to build low-cost boarding schools and encourage all school-going children from Turkana and Pokot to be taken to those schools. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of administrative status of Lorogon village, including reason for being administered from Turkana County and the measures being implemented to prevent this village from serving as a hideout for bandits, I state as follows. Lorogon is a disturbed area, is a disputed area at the border of West Pokot and Turkana counties, with both communities laying ancestral claim to the same land. Currently, the area is mainly inhabited by the Turkana community within Lorogon sublocation, with an assistant chief under Kaptir location, Kainuk division within the Turkana sub-county. On the other hand, the Pokot community claim the area is within Songok sublocation, Kapur location, Kasei division within the Pokot North sub-county. Previously, the area was not occupied and was used by the Pokot community to graze field as a grazing field and well as watering point at the Tarkwel River. However, in the early 90s, the Turkana community from the Kaputut, Katilu, Lopur areas moved to the area to mine gold, during which they set up temporary camps and renamed the area Lorogon village. Subsequently, in 1986, more Turkana kinsmen moved to Lorogon to seek casual employment at the Tarkwel hydroelectric power plant. The population of the Turkana community at Lorogon village grew, and with the support from the county government of Turkana, the majority established permanent resettlement. However, the settlement of Turkana in Lorogon area infiltrated the Pokot community and subsequently led to the incest attacks and counter-attacks. This prompted the creation of Lorogon sublocation in 1997 and subsequently the appointment of the assistant chief. However, due to the prevailing hostility in Lorogon, Michael Oase, the assistant chief, is based at the Kalemorog location, Kainuk division within Turkana sub-county. Honorable Speaker, the following measures are being implemented to prevent Lorogon village from serving as a hideout: intensifying police visibility through patrol, the Ngao and NPS partnering with other stakeholders to hold regular peace building and conflict management meetings. There is an ASITU camp at Lorogon area, which was established to serve the residents. In addition, there are other formed units to include GSU camp in Tarkwel and Namakwamoru in Turkana South Sub-County security operations. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I submit.
The Honorable Lotte takes the Lotte. The questioner has the first go at it. Yes, proceed, Lotte.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I want to appreciate the Chair for giving a comprehensive report about the insecurity. Mr. Speaker, the only thing that makes me not satisfied with the response is the promises that has always been carried on by government officials. For example, when we say that we have beefed up security by including the number of NPRs, could it be clear, Mr. Speaker, from the chairman to tell us from when this happened, how many NPRs have been added to beef up security? Because for me, that is a fallacy. There is no NPR that has been added apart from those that were there before. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, that makes me a little bit disturbed is on the basis that 4 or 5 months ago, the killings took place, and up to today, they are still not finding the real reason for that. They are saying investigation still continues. Can we be given the right time when this investigation will come to a conclusion and that the right people that killed these ladies are brought to book? Because if investigation continues, Mr. Speaker, forever, it basically means that they cannot get justice, because justice delayed is justice denied. And finally, Mr. Speaker, on the history of Lorogon Village, I want to appreciate the history that the chair has given, that this village used to be a Pokot village up to 1986 when Turkana herdsmen came to mine for gold. And Mr. Speaker, he has said that the population of the Turkanas increased in this area. Until 1997, they were given a sublocation. Mr. Speaker, I want to know in this country, do we give a sublocation to a community so that this community is supposed to be administered from another county when they are within the precincts of that county? Mr. Speaker, that question remains unanswered, and I will wish, Mr. Speaker, that the chairman...
Ask the question, allow, it's not a speech, it's not a very long, you have already had a sufficient leeway from the chair. Can you allow the chair now, the chairman of the committee, to answer the question, please? Okay, proceed. The chairman will take one more question, and then, of course, we go to the next, what do you call the question? The Honorable Posing. Kosing. Is it Kosing or Posing? Or you add both of them together?
I thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. But listening to that response from the chair, whom I really respect, Honorable Speaker, I find it theoretical and academic. That's academic, Mr. Speaker. And I don't blame him, because he's just receiving statements from the ministry or some people who write the statement. I used to be, of course, chairman of departmental, Mr. Speaker, so you receive statements from the ministry. So I don't blame him. But I don't know whether he knows what he said. Because what he said is totally lies. Lies, Honorable Speaker. And I want to tell him to listen.
Order, Honorable Posing. The word lies itself is unparliamentary. But you could say misleading. Use the right word, misleading. If you want to say that the question, that the information is not factual, then you say misleading. And ask a question. Don't make a speech. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. But it depends on the school also where somebody went. You know, I don't want to tell you where I went, but I went to a good school. But Honorable Speaker, let me say use your words, misleading, because Honorable Speaker, he's saying about KPR. The minister himself came to Pokot and said he's going to add KPR. Where are KPR in this area? Point number two, Speaker, is telling us that these investigations are still going on. Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, since when? Investigation has been going on. Even next year, investigation has been going on. Honorable Speaker, I want to remind the chairman that we are not living in the old constitution where ministers and government people used to hide on when funds will be available. This is the new constitution, Honorable Speaker, that is bound by dates. The Speaker, the Chair, Honorable Speaker, because it's misleading, must give the dates.
Well, enough, your point is taken, Honorable Posing. You're Kosing. No. Honorable Kosing.
But why are you?
Honorable Kosing.
Are you becoming the chairman of his?
Honorable Kosing. It's a question and answer time. Please ask a question. Ask a question. It's not. You're not supposed to make a statement. You're not supposed to make a speech.
The chair has given you sufficient leeway to build your question, but now that you have built it, ask a question.
Honorable Speaker, I have been in this house sufficiently. And I really respect you because you are the chairman of the people who have cows like me. But you cannot hold brief for the chairman of security. Speaker, you cannot hold brief for this guy. He cannot run away. Where are KPRs, Honorable Speaker?
Okay.
Where are they?
Fair enough.
And these issues of locations and sub-locations, he's telling us, oh, it's going to be considered. When are they considered? The minister came and said he's going to do it.
You have asked your question, point taken.
I know you represent it, but it's okay.
The MP for Turkana South, the MP for Turkana South, ask the last question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, while I was away from the House, I had the response by the chairman, Security, on the matters to do with the conflict of Turkana and the West Pokot. And specifically, I want to highlight the issues raised by the chairperson and the member of parliament for Pokot North. Honorable Chair, I heard the member for Pokot North saying a village in Turkana South is a village in West Pokot. That is misinformation, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when we go back to history, the person who was in charge, who was determining the boundaries with those Wazungus, was a Turkana person.
Yes, what's your point of order?
That was... Honorable Speaker, protect me from Kosing.
Yeah, it's on a point of order.
Protect me from Kosing.
MP for Turkana South, sit down. The honourable member here, chairman of Health Committee, is on a point of order. What's your point of order?
My point of order, Honorable Speaker, is the member for Turkana South right in order to imply that there is a member for Pokot North, when we know that Honorable Lote is a member for representing Kachalipa.
Fair enough. Point taken. The honourable member Lote is for Kachiliba. There's no constituency called Pokot North. Proceed and ask your question, MP for Turkana.
Honorable Speaker, I appeared before the Security Committee.
Senate Bills number 29 of 2024 be now read a second time. You may now proceed to vote. Senator Fernandi, move to the dispatch and get assisted, please. Senator Maruma, kindly wake up Senator Lominen and ask him to come to dispatch. That was a long prayer, Mr. Lominen. Oh. Now, honorable senators, the result of the division is as follows. Ayes at 33, nays 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it.
The Election Offences Amendment Number 2 Bill 2024, a bill for an Act of Parliament to amend the Election Offences Act.
Sergeant at times, you may now open the door and withdraw the bar. Now, honorable senators, before we resume debate on order number 11, allow me to make the following communication. Now, honorable senators, at the sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, the 9th of October 2024, Senator Fatuma Dulo brought it to the attention of this House that the Governor of Isiolo, Honorable Abdi Ibrahim Hassan, had on several occasions failed to appear before various committees of the Senate in response to either an invitation to appear or summons. Indeed, the following instances serve as an illustration of the instances where the Governor, without justifiable reason, has failed to appear. A, invitation by the County Public Accounts Committee, where the Governor had been invited severally but had declined to appear. Thus, summons dated the 12th of April 2024 were issued by the committee. B, invitation by the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare, where the Governor had been invited severally but has declined to appear. Thus, a summons was issued. C, invitation by the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, where the Governor had failed to respond to committee's requests for information, and thus summons dated the 31st of July 2024 were issued by the committee. The Governor failed to appear in response to the summons, and the committee issued further summons dated the 30th of September 2024. D, invitation by the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee, where the Governor appeared and used demeaning language and insulted members of that particular committee. A, the Governor failed to appear before the Standing Committee on Health pursuant to summons dated 21st of May 2024. The Governor obtained conservatory orders prohibiting the Director of Public Prosecutions from implementing the resolution of the committee to have the Governor prosecuted for breach of Section 27(1)A of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges. F, invitation by the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration, where the Governor has declined to appear before the committee. And finally, an invitation by the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations, where the Governor did not appear. Now, honorable senators, it would be prudent to consider the issues raised by Senator Dulo in the context of the law and judicial pronouncements that govern the issuance of summons by Parliament or its committees. Article 125 of the Constitution provides as follows. Either House of Parliament and any of its committees has power to summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information. For the purposes of Clause 1, a House of Parliament and any of its committees has the same powers as that of the High Court to do the following: to enforce the attendance of witnesses and examine them on oath, affirmation, or otherwise. B, to compel the production of documents, and C, to issue a commission or request to examine witnesses abroad. To give further effect to the powers under Article 125 of the Constitution, Section 18(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act provides that Parliament or its committees may invite or summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing any information, paper, book, record, or document in the possession or under the control of that person. And in this respect, Parliament and its committees shall have the same powers as the High Court as specified under Article 125 of the Constitution. 17 of the Act provide as follows. Where a witness summoned does not appear or appears but fails to satisfy the relevant House of Parliament or committee, may impose upon the witness such fine not have regard to the witness' condition in life circumstances of the case. 2, a person may pay the fine under subsection 1 to the clerk of the relevant house. And 3, Parliament or its committee may order the arrest of a person who fails to honor a summons. Additionally, Section 27(1)(a) of the Act provides that a person commits an offense where the person, having been duly summoned in terms of Section 18, fails without sufficient cause to attend at the time and place specified in the summons, or remain in attendance until excused from further attendance by the person presiding at the inquiry. Now, under Section 27(2), a person who commits an offense under subsection 1 is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 200,000 shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or both. Honorable Senators, the exercise of the powers under Article 125 of the Constitution by Parliament has been the subject of judicial consideration. For instance, in International Legal Consultants Group versus the Senate, 2014 EKLR, the court held inter alia, it is not in doubt that the Senate is conferred with the powers to summon any person to appear before it to give evidence or to provide information within its constitutional and statutory mandate. The powers to summon by the committees are equivalent to those of the High Court. In the same decision, the court found that the constitutional power to summon must be respected by all public officials at all times. The court further stated that summons should be a remedy of the last resort after attempts, consultation, or mediation have failed, and where it is clear that a county governor and all county officials have declined an invitation by the Senate or its committees to answer to matters oversight of county funds. Honorable Senators, from the foregoing, we may observe that Article 125 of the Constitution, as read together with Section 18(1) of the Powers and Privileges Act, Parliament and its committees have the power to summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or any information. In this respect, Parliament has the same powers as the High Court to enforce the attendance of witnesses and examine them on oath, affirmation, or otherwise. Although the courts have held that the power to summon under Article 125 of the Constitution should not be exercised in an arbitrary or capricious manner and should be preceded by attempts at consultation and mediation, it is clear that the various committees of the Senate have made several attempts to invite the governor to appear before issuing the summons. In both instances, the governor has failed to appear in a clear disregard of the Senate's power under the Constitution. This conduct with the governor not only undermines the rule of law, but obstructs the Senate from discharging its role as the protector of counties under Article 96(1) of the Constitution and the primary organ of oversight on the use of public funds by county governments under Article 96(3) of the Constitution. This is not acceptable. It cannot be allowed to continue. Honorable Senators, in light of this, I therefore guide all committees which had issued summons to the governor of Isiolo to appear, and in which the governor failed to appear, to liaise with the Inspector of Police as a matter of urgency and require the Inspector General of Police to produce the governor before the respective committees at a determined date and time. This is not a favor. This is not a favor that the Senate or its committees are asking of the Inspector General of Police. The defiance displayed by the governor of Isiolo in respect to invitations and summons of the Senate cannot persist. The Inspector General of Police must, in exercise of his mandate pursuant to Article 245(2)(b) of the Constitution, extend the necessary support to the committees in order to secure the appearance of the governor. It is also expected that if recourse to the courts becomes necessary, such action will robustly be pursued in courts as well. It is also open to the Honorable Senator for Isiolo, and indeed any other senator, to use the legislative mechanisms available and our standing orders, including a censure motion, to deal with the errant conduct of the governor of Isiolo. I thank you. Well, allow limited comments on this communication, starting with Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, let me first of all acknowledge the good work that Senator Dulo has been doing for the people of Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, if it wasn't for her diligence in ensuring that those people get their services, those hospitals are open, which are now shut, that the people get services, we would not be discussing this matter. This is unprecedented, Mr. Speaker. This is the first time that your chair has actually almost censured a sitting governor. This House protects devolution. This House, the framers of the Constitution, gave it powers to be able to ensure accountability, a fiduciary responsibility on those who are given that responsibility by the citizens. Mr. Speaker, I sit in the Public Accounts Investment Committee, and it is quite sad because our job is very simple: to ensure that we take these governors to task and ensuring that they use the resources wisely. I've listened to your communication, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I don't intend to vary your communication. It's well thought out, but I think we've got the powers in this House. Article 125, our Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Section 19 and 18, gives us that power. We have penalized this, or we have fined this governor, I think twice now. That's 1 million shillings. We want to know whether that person, whether he has paid that to the clerk of the House. Mr. Speaker, we have a police station which is domiciled in the precincts of Parliament. Why can't we authorize that? I know the law does not allow us to direct the Inspector General of Police. But I believe that the powers given to us by the Constitution, Article 125, where we sit like a high court. We can be able to compel that witness to appear. Mr. Speaker, in the last Parliament, we worked closely with the Ministry of Finance, and we were able to stop certain funds from going to a particular county. I think, Mr. Speaker, with your position and the powers given to this House, we can be able to take the same direction. I think Article 255, or is it 225, lays out the procedure on which the Cabinet Secretary can stop funds. But this time around, we have got to think out of the box. We've got to be unorthodox in our thinking in order to be able to defend devolution. We have to find a way to stop those funds, and whoever is protecting this individual, because he boasts around and he says the way is untouchable, must also take judicial notice that in this country, in this Senate, we will demand accountability. The only way, Mr. Speaker, that we can be able to ensure the people of Isiolo gets their services is if we all suspend any other discussion today, any other business, and we deal with this matter. We can censure that governor, even if he's not sitting here. Mr. Speaker, we talk about separation of powers between the three arms of government. I believe, with the spirit of cooperation, that we can be able to engage these other two arms of government, the executive and the judiciary, to be able to come up with a methodology in which we can be able to demand that this individual is brought to this House, this individual is penalized, and the people of Isiolo can be able to get their services. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I was watching a video of a young lady in Isiolo who was taken to the hospital. She was in ICU for 25 days. And she had to be told, go home, because the hospital is closed. Seriously? We can sit here as senators and allow devolution to die? Allow people to be able to thumb chest and say that they are untouchable? I think it's about time that we remind these governors that power is transient. Today you are so powerful, tomorrow you are nothing. You know, literally nothing. Mr. Speaker, to use a Swahili word, hii ni dhuluma. You know, this guy is really, I don't even know what to say. You know, he's so drunk with power, he's humiliating his citizens. He was not elected to be able to go there and make people suffer. We must remind these people that power is transient. And this Senate is powerful. We've been reminded so many days that we are powerful. We're going to be sitting here tomorrow discussing the issue of impeachment of a deputy president. And you still say that we don't have power? Mr. Speaker, let us use this police station, which is domiciled in Parliament. We should not just see police here sitting, trying to protect Parliament. The only way you can be able to protect devolution is by making sure that you call these people to account. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to request the Inspector General of Police, who I believe is a fine gentleman, who I believe is someone who is committed to ensure that there is discipline in this country, to expeditiously, go and make sure that that governor is taken to jail. Because you cannot violate Section 19 of the Public or the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. You cannot violate summons from this Senate and you continue there. And yet this is the same Senate which is fighting for you to get money. Seriously. That is completely ludicrous. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope that everyone here today, let us not talk about anything else. Let us censure this person and make sure that we use all the powers that we have to make sure that the people of Isiolo get what is rightfully theirs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wamatenga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also like to support the motion and the communication you've just made. Mr. Speaker, sir, indeed a very sad affair that we are chosen and elected by electorate.
What is so disorderly about Senator Wamatenga majority leader?
Apologies to Senator Wamatenga, Mr. Speaker, but I just wanted to request if you could guide, given that this is a matter that I know many senators will want to speak to, if we could provide guidance on time so that we get as many of our colleagues a chance to speak to it.
Okay, honorable senators, we need not to go on a vote on this. We can agree on a consensus. 3 minutes. 3 minutes? 3 minutes it is. Senator Wamatenga, your time starts running from now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving this opportunity. Indeed, when we campaign in this country, we promise all kinds of good things to our electorate. It is very unfortunate that some of us get in the office and they forget the very same things that we promised. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've heard from my neighbor here, the senator from Marsabit, his frustration with the governor for Isiolo. He has issued many invitations, but he has ordered none of them. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are elected as leaders to sit down and listen together. At times, the issues that we invite governors and other officials to appear before our committees are not intended to serve our own interest, but the interest of the community and the society of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is indeed quite important that when we are addressing such issues, we put mechanism in place to ensure that such persons who do not honor the invitations of committees, who even do not honor the summons, and that has happened quite a number of times, Mr. Speaker, and some of them are known to be quite extreme because they perceive themselves to be demigods. It is imperative that this House acts and behaves as in such a way to show such leaders that they are not demigods. Mr. Speaker, sir, the minute that we realize we've been elected to serve Kenyans, that is the time that we'll embrace servant leadership. It is quite unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that a governor who's been elected by the electorate of Isiolo and who had promised to deliver cannot even honor a sit down with the senator. And this, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is the only way to ensure that we deliver a service to our people through collaborative, participatory approach that requires the leaders to sit down together, reason together, and come up with an amicable working solution that addresses the issue of our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, as a House, we can only be able to execute our mandate of oversight if we put instruments in place that will ensure that we do not remain truthless. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is quite unfortunate and very, very sad that in the 21st century, somebody who platformed on the premise that he is going to deliver services cannot appear before this House, not that he's being asked personal questions, but questions that have to do with the way he's pushing the issues of Isiolo, governance issue, accountability and transparency. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is the high time that we show the world and the whole country that we as senators of this country, we mean business and we want to ensure that services are delivered to them. And the only way to do that, Mr. Speaker, sir, is to bite and bite very hard. Mr. Speaker, sir, you didn't say that we can tell or request the IG to bring such a person and any other person before the committee. We must do it, Mr. Speaker, because if we fail to do that, Mr. Speaker, the law of this House that has been given to us by the Constitution of Kenya will remain unexecuted because we have arrogant people.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is very unfortunate sitting here and listening to the level of impunity by a governor who has refused to attend several committee invitations. Mr. Speaker, this particular governor appeared before my committee, and the kind of conduct he exhibited when he appeared before my committee, it was the most unbecoming conduct from a governor. He almost exchanged with some of the members who are asking valid questions on matters to do with governance in Isiolo County. Mr. Speaker, you remember that in this House I sponsored a bill, an amendment to the Powers and Privileges Act, where I said that we need to enhance the fine from 500,000 to 2 million shillings, and also put in provisions on how the arrest can be executed. That bill was passed by this House, and that bill is lying in the National Assembly. Maybe at this point we would wish the National Assembly to speed up the passage of that bill so that we can deal with matters like this of Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, I think some governors take it like a crime if we invite them to appear before Senate. They think that we are punishing them. Mr. Speaker, we are simply doing our oversight role as per Article 96 of the Constitution. So I want to thank those governors who have honored our invitation in our various committees and appeared and answered questions affecting their counties. But there are others who, when invited, Mr. Speaker, they try and use all manner of excuses not to appear. That is against devolution, which this House, under Article 96, exists to protect. I think, as Senator Aldama said, I think it's a high time we have a censure motion on some of these governors. It should go beyond your communication, Mr. Speaker, so that we have a censure motion to discuss the conduct of these governors and any other governor who will run away from a summon. Mr. Speaker, 2 weeks ago, we summoned the former governor of Kitui, Honorable Charity Ngilu, over the matter of Kikotek, where millions of money was embezzled, Mr. Speaker, and the governor did not even respond to our request.
The Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I will not finish the 3 minutes. There's just one thing I want to say. Your communication is very well reasoned. The only thing I expect, Mr. Speaker, and that your ruling fell short of, and I want to believe it is out of the abundance of caution, not to be taken to be usurping the powers that belong to the chairpersons of our committee, is that you should actually have ordered the Inspector General of Police to search and produce the governor, wherever he is, if he's in Isiolo, Dubai, whichever part of the world he's in, Mr. Speaker, until he's produced here before the Senate. But given that this is a matter that is presently before various committees, then I agree with your wisdom, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I expect that at the next sitting of any of these committees that the governor has defied, the chairperson alongside the members will draft the summons and ask the Inspector General of Police to produce that that governor and ensure that he is in safe custody until the next sitting of that particular committee. We have a very good police station here at Parliament, Mr. Speaker. It is for dealing with errant members of society, which include even governors who fail to honor summons, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I want to see a 4-1, Mr. Speaker, that Senate Committee of XYZ orders the Inspector General of Police to arrest, detain, and produce before the next sitting of the Committee of XYZ Governor Guyo for failure to honor summons before, until he learns to respect Parliament. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to associate myself with the comments by the majority leader, but with some amendment. The Speaker, a lot will be said by senators here. But you see, Mr. Speaker, what this governor has done is that he has disobeyed invitations and summons by various committees, requiring that each committee then contacts the Inspector General of Police to produce the governor before them. The Speaker, that may be a bit of a tall order. My thing is, the Speaker, would be, if it were possible, there are two options. One, either a motion is brought before this House, so the House passes a resolution requiring the Inspector General of Police to arrest and produce the governor, or alternatively, Mr. Speaker, the chairman of the liaison committee, where all the chairmen of committees sit, takes up the matter with the Inspector General of Police to require on behalf of the Senate, Mr. Speaker. Because what is happening, Mr. Speaker? What is happening is that the governor of Isiolo has shown contempt of the first degree, not against the committees, but against the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Secondly, as you have heard from Senator Otsosi, you know, once that example is set, then it becomes very popular with other governors. And at the end of the day, what will happen is that then governors will be asked to appear before Senate. They will decide whether to come or not to come. Mr. Speaker, let this Senate, in this case, ensure that the governor of Isiolo is physically arrested and locked up in the cells in the Senate police station and produced before a plenary sitting of the Senate, the Speaker, so that he may serve as an example to other governors who are also wayward, who have no respect, who don't honor summons and invitations by committees of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, Article 125 of the Constitution is very clear, 125 2A, that a House of Parliament or any of its committees can enforce the...
Senator Mgatana.
Mr. Speaker, actually my note was on Order 11, so I will pass.
Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do appreciate and congratulate you for that communication. And my contribution is just in two parts, Mr. Speaker, to request governors to remember or to realize that devolution did not just happen in this country. Men and women of this republic made sacrifices, people lost their limbs, people lost their properties, people lost their lives. My second comment, Mr. Speaker, is, whereas I agree with you on the how, but I just wanted to draw your attention, Mr. Speaker, to the Constitution of Kenya, Article 245, which establishes the National Police Service, Mr. Speaker. And in this article, there is part 4, which Mr. Speaker says that the Cabinet Secretary responsible for police services may lawfully give a direction to the Inspector General with respect to any matter of policy for the national state, but no person may give direction to the Inspector General in respect of investigation, and enforcement matters, Mr. Speaker. I was thinking maybe we should have taken the right route, namely ask the Cabinet Secretary to do what the Constitution gives them in the section that I've read. Failing which, Mr. Speaker, we shall have contravened subsection 4, which does not allow any other person other than the Cabinet Secretary. Mr. Speaker, I support your communication.
Honorable Boni, read the powers of the High Court. Those are the powers that are in your hands. Senator for Kilifi.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kitu cha kwanza nataka kumsifu dada yetu Fatma Dulo, seneta wa Isiolo, kwa kuleta malalamishi kama haya mbele ya bunge la Senate. Bwana Spika, ni jambo la kusikitisha sana kuona gavana ambaye ameitwa katika bunge la Senate aje, ama gavana ambaye ameitwa na kamati ya Senate aje ajitokeze na akose kufika. Bwana Spika, ni jambo pia vile vile la kusikitisha kwamba yeye kama kiongozi wa gatuzi la Isiolo ni lazima azingatie sheria na ajue kwamba bunge la Senate ndio linalomshughulikia na kumtafutia pesa ili aweze kutumia kufanya maendeleo ndani ya Isiolo. Bwana Spika, kitu kingine ni kwamba ule uamuzi ambao umechukuliwa hivi sasa, Bwana Spika, katika ulivyochukua huo uamuzi wa kwamba yeye aweze kuitwa tena mbele ya kamati na kupitia kwa mkuu wa polisi, hilo ni jambo zuri, kwa sababu kuanzia hivi sasa kutakuwa na heshima itakayopeanwa na kwa watu kwa maseneta wetu na kuheshimu bunge la Senate, ya kwamba usipokwenda tunaweza kutumia nguvu zetu hapa ndani ya bunge la Senate na tukamwambia mkuu wa polisi uweze kukamatwa na uletwe mbele ya Senate ama kamati ya Senate ili uweze kujibu yale maswali, na tutafanya hivyo tukitumia njia hiyo, na ni kwamba itakuvunjia heshima wewe kama gavana. Manake ukija ukishikwa utatiwa ndani korokoroni, alafu siku ya pili ama baada hiyo weekend ikimalizika utapelekwa katika kamati ya Senate ili uweze kujibu ni kwa nini hawezi kuja. Na hili hatutaki uhusiano kama huo uweze kujitokeza wakati ambapo inatakana serikali ya ugatuzi hivi sasa tunawapigania pesa wapate, na hatutaki zipunguzwe na wao wanafanya tabia kama hizo, na sisi tunaona hiyo si jambo zuri. La mwisho, Bwana Spika, mimi nasema Gavana Guyo aelewe ya kwamba moja wapo katika serikali ya ugatuzi ni Isiolo, na Isiolo si kipochi chake, wala pia vile vile Isiolo si nyumba yake. Aelewe kwamba Isiolo ni gatuzi la watu wa Isiolo, na akiitwa na Isiolo ama akiitwa na kamati ya Senate aweze kujua ya kwamba ni lazima aje afike. Asipofanya hivyo hatua itachukuliwa. Asante sana Bwana Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Honorable Senators, we seem to have a problem with with our system. If there are any other senators wishing to contribute to the motion, to the allegations, yes. Very well. By show of hand, we'll start with Commissioner.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa nataka kumshukuru seneta wa kutoka Isiolo, Seneta Fatuma Duro, kwa swali ambalo aliuliza ndiposa tuweze kupata mwelekeo na tayari Bwana Spika tumepata mwelekeo, na nataka kumshukuru seneta kwa sababu yeye amekuwa mzoefu na amekuwa kwa muda mrefu katika seneti hii, na maswali ambayo ameuliza Bwana Spika ni swali nzuri kabisa, kwa sababu Gavana Guyo, kile ambacho amehitajika ni yeye kuja hapa katika seneti hii ama kamati za seneti hii kujibu maswali Bwana Spika. Si maswali ya seneta, ni maswali ambayo watu wa Isiolo wangetaka huduma Bwana Spika, na hiyo ndio maswali ambayo yanaulizwa. Bwana Spika, imenivunja moyo sana kusikia kwamba gavana anakuja katika kamati na hakuna jambo anafanya ila kuleta madharau katika kamati Bwana Spika. Nimemsikiza seneta wa Vihiga, Seneta Ostosi, ambaye ni mwenyekiti wa kamati, akisema ya kwamba yule gavana hata baada ya kufika katika ile kamati ni kuonyesha dharau Bwana Spika, ni kama hawafai. Ilhari maseneta hata siku ya leo Bwana Spika tumekuwa tukisema ya kwamba pesa ambazo zinakwenda katika kaunti zetu ni mpaka ziongezeke Bwana Spika. Nilimsikiza Seneta Dulo akiuliza inawezekanaje sisi tunapigania pesa ziende katika gatuzi ya Isiolo, lakini gavana mwenyewe hawezi kuja kujibu maswali Bwana Spika. Nataka kusema ya kwamba uamuzi ambao umetolewa na Spika siku ya leo na kubaliana nao 100% Bwana Spika, na umetoa mwongozo ndio hata magavana wengine ambao wako na zile nia ama zile tabia Bwana Spika waweze kupata funzo Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, sisi vile tunavyofanya katika seneti hii ni kuwakilisha wananchi wa Kenya Bwana Spika katika gatuzi ambazo tumechaguliwa. Bwana Spika, sioni jambo lolote ya kwamba gavana anaogopa kuja kujibu maswali, kwa sababu maswali ambayo anaulizwa ni maswali kuhusu utendaji kazi wake katika kaunti yake Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, asipokuja inaonekana ni madharau, na nataka kubaliana na Spika vile alivyosema atafutwe mahali alipo Bwana Spika, na wakati wote kamati itakapokuwa ikiketi Bwana Spika aweze kutolewa Bwana Spika, kwa sababu faini hizi Bwana Spika ambazo amekuwa akitozwa kwake anaona ni mzaha Bwana Spika, kwa sababu atatoa zile pesa katika akaunti za gatuzi zetu na aweze kulipa Bwana Spika. Anatoa mkono huu na kuweka katika mkono huu Bwana Spika. Nataka kukubaliana na nataka kumpongeza tena Seneta Dulo kwa kazi nzuri ambayo amefanya na ametutolea mwongozo. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, nasema asante.
Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to congratulate you for that communication that you have made, and also congratulate Senator Dulo for escalating this matter to the plenary. As a chair of a committee, I have been seized of this matter, and Mr. Speaker, I am one of those chairs or the leaders of those committees that have gone to Isiolo County to carry out our constitutional mandate. Mr. Speaker, when the Public Accounts Committee landed in Isiolo, we were scheduled to have our meetings at the Isiolo County Assembly. The Speaker of Isiolo County Assembly and the entire membership of the Assembly disappeared, including the clerk. We were only left with the Sergeant at Arms. The Governor, whom we had given notice that the Senate would be coming to Isiolo, was a no-show. Mr. Speaker, even the projects that the committee had come to inspect as part of its constitutional mandate, we could not get access to the projects. Mr. Speaker, one of the projects was a market and a county headquarter. The project manager is a Ministry of Public Works. Even the project manager could not get access to those facilities. Mr. Speaker, it must go on record that when we do what we do in committees, it is not vendetta and it is not pursuit for personal glory or any personal gratification. We are doing it because the Constitution requires us to oversight public resources that have been assigned to county governments. I want to say, having visited Isiolo, that the people of Isiolo deserve proper medical services just like the people of Homa Bay. The people of Isiolo deserve representation at the county assembly just like the people of Kiambu or Moranga or any other county. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that those things are not happening. But we cannot be a house that laments. Mr. Speaker, I perhaps do not agree that this house should be considering a censure motion against a governor because we have the power to impeach a governor. And so we cannot initiate the process that will lead to that impeachment. But what our clerks must do for posterity is to advise senators on the concept of contempt of parliament. Mr. Speaker, the directions that parliament gives in the event of contempt are still subject to judicial review. And yet contempt of court is not subject to any other review. Contempt of the executive is met with dire consequences. We have put ourselves in a position of weakness, Mr. Speaker, by subjecting issues of contempt of parliament to review of other bodies of judicial review. Mr. Speaker, in other jurisdictions, subpoenas are issued and the Inspector General or the head of the police has a responsibility to execute them. Let us not lament. The Inspector General of Police was vetted by this House.
Order, senators. Senators, order. Let's listen to Senator Kajwang. 1 minute to conclude. Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, the Inspector General of Police was vetted by this House. And someone who's an appointee of the Senate cannot then have the guts to defy legitimate instructions and directions of the Senate. And Mr. Speaker, Senator for Kakamega, Senator Khalwale, has gone down in history as having led a march to the office of the Inspector General of Police. We should never appear helpless. Mr. Speaker, finally, I want to encourage the citizens of Isiolo to go to the County Governments Act and push for a motion for suspension of that county government because the activities of the governor and the ruling class in Isiolo are contrary to the common good of the people of Isiolo. However, Mr. Speaker, this conversation should not be localized to one governor or to one county. This is a problem that we are seeing across several other counties in the 47 county governments. And we need a solution. We need to strengthen the consequences for contempt of parliament without subjecting them to judicial review. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Ali Roba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I stand here as a governor who has served 10 years and who has appeared before various committees, including that of Senator Kajwang, severally. One thing, as a governor from my region of northern Kenya, it's a bit embarrassing when you're invited by various committees and consistently you fail to appear, including the committee I chair. The role of oversight committees of Senate is to vindicate you from wrongdoing if you're able to appear and explain the state of expenditure or issues of concern that has been shared. My worry is, what would the governor tell the people of Isiolo County as the reason for failing to appear before various committees of the Senate? And what is it that the governor is hiding so much such that the governor cannot appear before oversight committees of parliament? And what is very unique with this one governor of Isiolo County, Governor Guyo, so that all the other governors having their second term, the first term, are appearing before various committees. However, Governor Guyo finds it impossible to appear before various committees of the Senate. It should be a question that the public of Isiolo needs to ask themselves. What is our governor hiding? Why is it that our governor can't appear as other governors are appearing before oversight committees of the Senate? Because the opportunity to be able to appear and explain issues of concern that has been raised on behalf of the public of Isiolo is an opportunity that any leader, with sound mind at this level of a governor should be able to take that opportunity to freely come without being persuaded to come, unless there is something very serious that he's hiding, or he can't appear because he's ill-prepared to be able to appear. Because now, as you're leading a county and consistently you're being discussed for failing to appear before various committees of the Senate, and that puts you in a very embarrassing situation. I think the direction that the Speaker has given is a sound direction, and all of us need to take advantage of that to be able to make sure that this is enforced on behalf of the people of Isiolo County. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why the senator of
Senator Chimera is very excited today. Senator from Kwale. But that's fine. I think that he must be very excited because I think that the governor for Isiolo has frustrated the House for so many years, Mr. Speaker. And I have witnessed, Mr. Speaker, from my own committee, CPIC, when the governor, first of all, was very reluctant to appear in the committee. But when he eventually appeared, he appeared as if the work that we were doing in that committee were not important, to the extent that it became a very bad exchange, Mr. Speaker. But that said, Mr. Speaker, whenever we invite, because we start with the invitation to governors to come and appear before the committees of the House, Mr. Speaker, and even if you further this by a sermon, Mr. Speaker, most of the time, these invitations are about audit queries. And audit queries, Mr. Speaker, if you look at all the audit queries that we have had, Mr. Speaker, they are there to protect the people of our respective counties from any exploitation of Article 43, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, if a governor doesn't show up and disrespect committees of the House, Mr. Speaker, I think that this is the best definition of a crime. And what I was expecting, Mr. Speaker, is perhaps a guidance to the committees of the respective, the chairs of the respective committees, that they recommend prosecution of such a governor. Because I don't think that having Inspector General of Police bring a governor who is rogue, who is exploiting his people, who is not performing for his people, who is actually wasting the resources of his people, and you want someone to appear before us, and he doesn't show up, just bring him before us doesn't help the people to get their services. Let the chairpersons of these respective committees recommend prosecutions, and let those recommendations come in form of a report to this House. Let us ratify those reports through the process of debates and consideration in this House, and let us forward the recommendations to DPP and recommend a prosecution. And I hope that Governor of Isiolo will be the first one to face the wrath of a House of Parliament that protects the people against such exploitation. So, Mr. Speaker, let recommend prosecution of this governor. I think
Senator Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me first to raise a point of concern, Mr. Speaker, on our systems, Mr. Speaker. We really need to figure out how to deal with this issue of our systems, because we are facing a very important issue tomorrow. And if it happens that every time we are queuing to speak and suddenly the system drops, and then we are subjected to either not offer our views, Mr. Speaker, we will not be doing justice to the people that we present, Mr. Speaker. So I don't know what plans the Secretariat, the Clerk's Office, the people in charge have for tomorrow, but it can definitely not be that when we are ready to speak, the systems drop. It looks a little bit awkward, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of the Governor of Isiolo, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that as a member of the Labour Committee, we actually had summoned the governor because he has allegedly employed over 45 advisors, Mr. Speaker, contrary to what is allowed in law. And you can see the level of impunity. If it is true that indeed he has employed over 45 advisors and he has refused to submit himself before the Labour Committee, Mr. Speaker, we are 100% sure that there's a lot of other monkey business going on in Isiolo, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, when we were issuing the summons of arrest from the Labour Committee, it was in the interest of the people of Isiolo, because if we as a Senate committee cannot trace where the governor is, for sure the people of Isiolo have no clue where their governor is, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I think it is imperative that even in future, if we amend the powers and privilege, if we amend the standing orders, that it should be imperative that at the points that the first committee has issued the arrest, a letter from the Speaker's office should just initiate that the culprits be arrested on the spot, Mr. Speaker. So we are looking forward to some action so that we can be able to account for the people of Isiolo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator James Morango.
Finally. Asante sana Mr. Speaker kwa kunipa nafasi. Kitu ya kwanza ningetaka kusema kwamba ni jambo la aibu kwa sababu aliye gavana wa Isiolo Abdi huyo alikuwa mwakilishi wandi wa Matopeni. Ile wakati pia nilikuwa Matopeni wandi. Wakati pia mimi nilikuwa mwakilishi wandi wa Kerugoya. Akawa kiongozi wa wengi na mimi pia nilikuwa kiongozi wa wengi, nikakuja Senate na akawa gavana wa Isiolo. Na kwa sababu tunaamini kwamba ukipitia kutoka wewe ni mwakilishi wandi na umefika mahali ulipo pia unakuanga umesoma mambo mengi. Na ni vibaya na aibu kuonekana kwamba sasa wale wanaofika kuwa mangavana kupitia mawakilishi wandi ni kama watu ambao pia wanaanza kuvunja sheria. Hiyo ni kutuharibia hata sisi, Mr. Speaker. La pili niseme kwamba seneti tio tingatinga ambayo inatumika kutengeneza barabara mahali kuna mawe na miti, ikimaliza inawekwa kando isiharibu barabara. Tunapokuja huku kupitisha fedha ambazo mangavana wanatumia, lazima kwamba wajue ya kwamba lazima tutafuatilia kuona zile fedha zinafanya kazi. Na kwa hivyo gavana anapoarifiwa kwamba anafaa kufika katika kikao kwa kamati ya seneti, anafaa kwa mapema afike akuja jieleze. Hii sasa inaonekana ni kinaya na pia ni kukosea Senate heshima kwa sababu siku zote hizo wameitwa wamekataa kukuja. Mr. Speaker, niliangalia wakati kulikuwa na kikao ya Speaker ambapo gavana huyo alimutusi seneta wa Narok katika kikao. Na niseme kwamba hiyo si mzaa, sio kitu ya kufurahia. Ni kitu ambayo pia inaonyesha kwamba watu wa Isiolo kama sisi hatuwezi kuwatetea. Watatetewa na nani kwa gavana ambaye ni mkakamavu na amekosa heshima kiwango ya kwamba anaweza kuja kutusi seneta katika kamati. Kwa hivyo Mr. Speaker, ningesema ya kwamba achukuliwe hatua ambazo zinafaa kuchukuliwa, aletwe katika kamati zile zote na ikiwezekana akuje awekwe ndani, akija kwa kamati anarudishwa ndani, anatolewa kamati hiyo ingine mpaka amalize vikao vyote akiwa mbando wako ndani, kwa sababu akiachiliwa hatujui kwamba atakuja tena ama atatoroka. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Alexander Mundingi.
Asante Bwana Speaker, mimi naunga mkono vile maseneta wa county 47 wanaongea kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa mmoja komiti wa REPA. Tumekuwa na kikao mara moja, ya pili, ya tatu, na pia seneta wa Isiolo Mheshimiwa Nduro amekuwa akihudhuria hiyo kikao na imekuwa na shinda nyingi sana kwa sababu tumekuwa tukimuhitaji akuja anjibu majibu vile ameajiri kazi watu wafanyikazi na vile analipa watu na amekuwa akuji na nakumbuka wiki jana tulisema aweze kutolewa summon na pia aweze kuangaliwa vile atalipa shilingi 1500. Kwa hivyo naunga mkono governor aweze kutafutwa na mkuu wa polisi aweze kuletwe, na kama ni rais wa Kenya kwa mwaka mmoja huwa anakuja anaongea katika Senate pamoja na Parliament, na pia kama kwa hii kikao ya Senate Bwana Speaker, kila wakati wote siku ya Jumatano kama cabinet secretary huwa anakuja, na katika governor wote wanakuja Bwana Speaker, na governor wa Isiolo hawezi kuheshimu mambo ya Senate. Ningeomba mambo yote machairman wote wa kamati wakae pamoja na kila kamati iweze kutoa mashtaka yake na iandikwe pamoja, na wakati huyo governor ataweza kushukuriwa aweze kuletwa hapa katika kikao ya Senate akuje akalishwe chini na maseneta 67. Kwa hiyo Bwana Speaker, mimi naunga mkono huyo governor aweze kushukuriwa hatua, kwa sababu najua si tumekuwa hapa kila mara tukiongea mambo ya ukatuzi, tukiongea mambo ya wizara 10, mambo ya hela ya hospitali, mambo ya hela ya wafanyikazi, maji, mambo ya hela, hata ya parapara na kila kitu yote. Na kama kila wakati wote juu ya tunatetea ukatuzi, Bwana Spika, na ule governor ndiye anavaa anjibu maswali ni kama audit na akuji, tunasunika sana. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, mimi naunga mkono huyo governor aweze kuletwa hapa kwa maseneta wote tuweze kuona vile atasukuliwa hatua. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, naunga mkono nikiwa senator wa Embu County. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Chimera.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa fursa hii. Bwana Spika, ni kupongeze sana kwa ujumbe huu ambao ni muhimu sana katika uendeshaji wa shughuli za bunge la seneti hili. Bwana Spika, kwa kweli gavana huyu kutoka Isiolo amekuwa donda sugu lisilopona. Bwana Spika, nafikiri mimi mwenyewe ni mwanakamati wa kamati ile ya masuala ya usawa, na bunge hili katika mswada wao wa hali halisi ya taifa baada ya yale maandamano ya vijana wa Gen Z, tuliweza kupewa fursa na nguvu na bunge hili kuweza kuwaita magavana wote ndani ya nchi hii ili kutathmini ni hali gani ama ni jinsi gani wamefanya kuhakikisha kwamba vijana katika nchi hii wanapata nafasi za kazi, wanapata nafasi za ajira, nafasi za biashara katika kaunti zetu. Lakini la kusikitisha ni kwamba gavana huyu wa Isiolo, Mheshimiwa Guyo, nafikiri amekataa katakata kufika katika kamati ile, na ninavyosikia kwamba pia amekataa kuja katika kamati zingine katika bunge letu hili. Ni jambo la kusikitisha Bwana Spika, na niseme kwamba sisi kama seneta tunapaswa kupeana ilani kali sana kwa magavana kama hawa na wale wengine ambao pia wanapania kutoheshimu amri ya seneti. Jumba hili la seneti kwa mara ya kwanza sasa nafikiri jumba ambalo limepata hadhi yake, lina sifa yake kedekede, na vile vile pia linafuata sheria kuhakikisha kwamba ugatuzi kweli umeonyeshwa katika kaunti zetu kule mashinani. Mimi naomba tu kwa wale magavana ambao wanataka kuenda njia hii ya gavana wa Isiolo, tunawapa ilani ya kwamba sisi kama maseneta, ikiwemo mimi seneta kutoka kaunti ile yangu ya Kwale, hatutalala katika kazi yetu, hatutazembea. Tutahakikisha kwamba wewe kama gavana ambaye unapata fedha ya serikali ya umma kumfanyia mwananchi kazi, utaweza kuwajibika, na ni lazima ufike katika kamati zetu za seneti hili uweze kujieleza, na si kwamba tunakushutumu. Sielewi kwa nini gavana huyu Bwana Spika anaogopa kuja katika bunge letu hili. Nini anaficha ambayo anaona kwamba hawezi kuja kutujielezea Bwana Spika? Mimi naomba hatua kali chukuliwe, kando na yale uliyasema katika ujumbe wako Bwana Spika. Gavana aweze kukamatwa ikiwezekana hata leo, ili aweze kupewa fursa ya kuja katika bunge hili na ajieleza na tuone ni nini anachokificha katika kaunti yake ile ya Isiolo. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator Mofaya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to support this motion by Senator of Isiolo. Honorable Speaker, I've been around for the last close to 2 years now. I serve in various committees, including being the chair of delegated registration in the Senate. Honorable Chair, I have observed with a lot of dismay that there is purported emergent overrated rivalry between governors and senators for no apparent reason. No, Honorable Speaker, oversight is a constitutional obligation. Senator Dulo is not pursuing her own interest for that matter. She is doing what is exactly enshrined in the Constitution. So the governor of Isiolo is not, the rivalry is not between the governor and the senator. The rivalry is between what the Constitution really dictates. That the governor has to obey the summons, the invitation from various committees. And you know, Honorable Speaker, I have observed that quite a number of people who have served as members of parliament, who have served as members of the Senate, who have served as the members of the county assembly, are very defiant and raw when it comes to appearing before Senate committee. I don't know for what reasons. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it's important for us as a house to make some very serious regulations to that matter, because I think if we don't tame these governors, and I know it is very sad, Honorable Speaker, even some of us who are making a lot of lamentation in this house, today, tomorrow, if you become a governor, I will be surprised to see that quite a number of us who might be governors tomorrow might be following the same path. So So that's when you're invited in these committees, you just defy, because you know so and so who has been your colleague maybe in the previous regime is the chairman of that committee. So, Honorable Speaker, let's not run away from making sure these things are individual. It's about the Constitution. So the governor for Isiolo must be compelled to make sure that he appears in every committee in his house. He must be compelled. We have a committee called National Cohesion Integration Commission, which is run by Senator for Marsabit, Honorable Chute. I remember we have filed several invitations for governor for Isiolo, which has not been observed. He identified all those invitations. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it's important that we make sure that we stamp our authority over these invitations and make sure that we don't dilute the essence and the very best interest of the devolution for the interest of our people in our relevant counties. I support Honorable Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. And let me start by really appreciating Senator for Isiolo, Senator Dulo, for bringing this motion before this House. It's very important. And Mr. Speaker, when I look at the committee that I sit and I serve as the Vice Chair of Finance, we've dealt with the issue of the pending bills for Isiolo, in the sense that when the Senator for Isiolo asked the committee the issue of pending bills for her county, the committee, through the Secretariat, did the needful and wrote to the county of Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, that has been over 1 year, and up to date, Mr. Speaker, the county of Isiolo has never responded on this. As a committee of finance, we summoned the governor, and he gave an excuse indicating that he was hosting a function for Isiolo, a function combined with Marsabit County, among other counties, and that was so much of a priority, unlike appearing to the committee. As we speak, the Finance Committee has summoned the same governor. He's supposed to appear next week, the 22nd of this month, on the same response, and we await. Chances are he might not appear, and it is good we are having this discussion because we have other many matters we want to prosecute. The committee that I also sit in, CPIC, it's true, there was an exchange between the same governor and Senator Ledama, something that, as a committee, of course, was a big disappointment. And after that exchange, Mr. Speaker, the same governor's team, I presume, went ahead to put some of the members of the committee on social media, claiming that the senator of Isiolo was just attacking the governor, and we seemed to be condemning that. An issue that shocked us as members because we do not participate in such matters. And so, through you, Speaker, it would be prudent for the governor to appear before this House to be able to answer, because it seems that all the committees, he has chosen not to appear. So the best solution, even before he appears to other committees, it should be for him to appear before this House and be able to answer to the question of why he has decided to disrespect this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kithuku, do you want to contribute to the allegations made at Isiolo County or the next motion?
This one for Isiolo. Thank you very much, Honorable
And
Speaker.
Senator Mogeni, do you want to contribute to the allegations? Or is it the next motion? Okay, just one moment. Kithuku, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to congratulate the Senator for Isiolo for bringing this very important matter before this House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join also the Honorable Senators, my colleagues, in condemning the act done by the Isiolo Senator, who have decided not to be appearing before the different committees that he has been invited severally, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this House is mandated by the Constitution to take care of the devolution and its government. Honorable Speaker, it is absurd to see to it that the Honorable Governor have decided to deliberately not to appear to these committees that he has been summoned to appear so that Honorable Speaker, he can answer to issues that are affecting the people of Isiolo. Honorable Speaker, I sometimes even fail to understand what is this that the governor is thinking, because the moment now you start to avoid the senators who are mandated by the Constitution to take care of the devolution, then it shows that, Honorable Speaker, that governor is not even aware of what he's doing. Honorable Speaker, I would wish that this House take very serious measures against this governor, because now, Honorable Speaker, the moment now we allow this, other governors who have the same attitude like him, Honorable Speaker, will one day also try to avoid the invitation by the senators. So, Honorable Speaker, I am of the opinion that this House take a very serious measure and discipline this governor who have deliberately decided not to be appearing before various committees of this House, Honorable Speaker. I sit in the Committee of Cohesion. I am a witness that we have been inviting this governor to appear, but he has deliberately refused to appear to answer to issues that are affecting the people of Isiolo, Honorable Speaker. I therefore support and urge this House, Honorable Speaker, to see to it that this governor serves as an example to other governors who has the same attitude like him. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Eric Mugeni.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know, we are facing a very bad crisis. That a Senate of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, is this afternoon discussing a conduct of a governor who has refused to respond to summons issued by the Senate. Mr. Speaker, even in the most advanced democracies, you can never, Senator of Isiolo, refuse to respond to summons of a House, more so a Senate. If you look at history, Mr. Speaker, you know what brought down President Richard Nixon. He was given summons by the Senate that was looking into his impeachment. The Senate ordered him to produce tapes that had some information on the Watergate scandal. He refused. He went to court. He waived immunity. The court sided with the Senate and directed President Richard Nixon to tender those tapes to the Senate. And it's the incriminating evidence that was in those tapes that made Richard Nixon to resign. So if a president of a superpower like United States of America can respect summons issued by an equivalent House, Senate of the US, what about this guy called Governor Guyo? I mean, we must rain down on this character. Mr. Speaker, we cannot accept the power, the authority of this House to be whittled down. We cannot accept. Senator Cheragay is a lawyer, you know it. In fact, if you read the American Constitution, they don't have the kind of powers that we have as the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. The Constitution does not mention that the Senate of the US is like a high court, like the way ours mentions. So if need be, this is a guy that should be arrested and be brought here by none other than the commissioner. Because, Mr. Speaker, when you summon a governor, it's not a play game. You want to see some documents, the information you want to see, their records. How then can we be said to be a body that can oversight counties if we cannot have the privilege of asking for documents and they are brought to us, Mr. Speaker? I'm speaking with a lot of pain, Mr. Speaker, because this should not happen in a democracy, more so with a very progressive constitution like the one we have. I hope we are going to go a little bit further and even summon the Commissioner of Police to appear here and tell us why he cannot arrest this governor and bring him before this House. We must show, Mr. Speaker, that we have teeth. We are not a toothless bulldog. We must demonstrate to the governors, more so this Governor Guyo, Governor of Isiolo, that this House has got teeth and the powers we have are powers equivalent to the High Court. Mr. Speaker, if I get summons from the High Court, I will even skip the session tomorrow. If I'm summoned to appear before the High Court tomorrow, I'll go running. And that's what happens in the US. When you receive subpoenas in the US, you stop everything and respond first to the Senate. In fact, it's worse not to go than even receiving summons. So I support, Mr. Speaker, that we need to do something, and I really support the passion with which the Senator of Isiolo has fought to ensure that there is transparency, that she also does her role of oversight effectively against a governor who thinks that is law unto himself. I support him, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senators. We proceed to the next order. Clerk.
Order number 11, motion consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the county government's additional allocations bill, Senate bills, and number 19 of 2024. Resumption of debate.
Resumption of debate. Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. I want to support the Finance and Budget Committee for this report, and I agree with them that they should reject the amendments from the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I always get impressed by our Committee on Finance and Budget, and I can see a number of members are in the House. Mr. Speaker, I think this is authority. The last time they were supposed, Mr. Speaker, to cut down the money from 380 billion to 41 billion, they brought us a rejection that the county should get 41 billion, Mr. Speaker. So I support the Finance and Budget Committee that the amendments that were done by National Assembly is not in good faith. If National Assembly had good faith, they should have cut their own CDF money, because CDF as it is unconstitutional, is illegal, and it has been ruled even by the Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker. In fact, it is in my constitutional amendment of 2024 that I'm trying, Mr. Speaker, to salvage the hanging on of the CDF allocation under the budget, Mr. Speaker. In fact, the amendment of this, the upshot of this, Mr. Speaker, is in Article 202 of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, where in this point you are trying to additional funds to counties. Apart from equitable shareable revenue, there is additional funds, Mr. Speaker, there is own source revenue. So, Mr. Speaker, we must agree as a nation that what the Finance and Budget Committee has done is very impressive, Mr. Speaker. We should support them. Mr. Speaker, you are looking in the financial year of 2024-2025, counties were supposed to get additional funds of 61.9 billion, Mr. Speaker. But the National Assembly cut down to 46.5 billion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker. So counties will lose almost 15.4 billion, Mr. Speaker, which is very unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, it will affect many programs. Mr. Speaker, what we should be cutting is foreign travel, Mr. Speaker. Chai and mandazi and flowers and newspaper in our offices, Mr. Speaker. Then reallocate those funds to more, Mr. Speaker. Because, for example, Mr. Speaker, if the counties were to lose 15.4 billion, for example, if they cut it to 46.5 billion, Mr. Speaker, counties like the one we were discussing, Isiolo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, Tharaka Nithi, will lose 528.1 million that was supposed to be used to support the construction of county headquarters, Mr. Speaker. The reasoning behind the Senate was that these counties received the lowest allocation through shareable revenue, and therefore we thought by giving them additional grants, additional funds of 528 million will assist them to build county headquarters, Mr. Speaker. And I remember we did visit Isiolo. The headquarters was stocked, Mr. Speaker. We went to Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, with Senator Okongo Mugeni, and I wish he was listening. He was my lawyer when I was struggling in those days, Mr. Speaker. And he defended me, Mr. He took us to Nyamira County headquarters when Governor Amos Nyaribo, may his soul rest in peace, was still the governor, and we went under devolution committee. Oh, sorry. The late Nyagarama, sorry, Mr. Speaker, the late Nyagarama, he was still the governor, he passed on, Mr. Speaker. My apologies. I didn't intend, but it is a slip of the tongue, Mr. Speaker. Because yesterday, in the charges of a matter that was yesterday, there was also confusion on which door to get into, Mr. Speaker. Even in mineral royalties of 1.1 billion. For example, in Nandi, Mr. Speaker, we have mining in Kareba gold mine. We have mining across Nandi. This 1.1 billion mining royalties, Mr. Speaker, would have been significant in allocation and development of those areas, Mr. Speaker. You know, there is destruction of environment, there is pollution, Mr. Speaker. We should have allowed 1.1 billion, Mr. Speaker. Another important issue is road maintenance levy fund, Mr. Speaker, of 10.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, are you aware, Mr. Speaker? Mr.
Yes.
Speaker, are you aware?
Beatrice, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, my point of order is on Standing Order 41 on the quorum during the proceedings of the Senate. Honorable Speaker, do we have a quorum to proceed as a House?
Honorable Senators, it seems we don't have quorum. Sergeant at Arms, please ring the bell for 10 minutes.
KDIC, safer, stronger together.
Wananifurusha hapa, mimi nimelelewa hapa. Na wewe nani alikuambia kwamba hii nyumba ni ya babako? Kaka.
Saideje Kalum?
Una mashani ni mpenzi wangu.
Tumenita nini?
Unasema uongo baada ya machafu yote kakako aliyokufanyia?
Mimi kuna kitu sielewi kabisa, mimi sikuelewi. Wala siko tayari kukuelewesha, umenisikia?
Mimi nimekuwa huko nje miaka mingapi? Mbona haikuwa aibu jamani?
Who is the stupid one who agreed to it? Danielle, who did it? That's enough.
I did, Danielle. That fire was a brilliant plan, brother. What if someone dies? Well, that'll be bad for Dioteros. Besides, not much would be lost anyway.
Well, there are children and old people living there, and they might have died, Carlos!
Are you shouting at me? What are we talking about? Tell him, Father. Tell him that you were going to fire him from the sawmill for making it bankrupt. Wildlands.
Nadhani umefika muda wa kurudi kwa wazazi wangu na mwanangu Maya. Hapa haya ni maji ya shingo na nimeshindwa kabisa kuyaogelea.
Mimi naweza chapwa na mwanamke mimi huyo basi.
Hata wewe mtu mzima haujui kuchunga mzigo wako. Shauri yako.
Thank you for joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com. A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
fly. Girl, you make me feel alright, and I wanna make you mine. Can I make you mine? Can I make you mine? Vituko vyako mami, napendo navofanya unanimaliza mi. Oh my, umenichanganya mi. Kwako nimekufa nimeoza baby, I'm deadly. Will you be mine? Cause you blow my mind, you dey blow my mind. Will you be mine? Will you be mine? Shawty, you dey blow my mind, you dey blow my mind. Shawty, you dey blow my mind, you dey blow my mind. Yeah, yeah. Shawty, you dey blow my mind, you dey blow my mind. Shawty, you dey blow my mind, you dey blow my mind. Yeah, yeah. Zenye maneno kushawishi moyo, yalimatenda mapenzi kuyakurupukia tena siwezi. Kidogo nitoe wai usione na kuringia, nayaogopa mapenzi. Mapenzi hayajakamilika, mapenzi ni maridhiano, imani na nia. Mapenzi ni mawasiliano, na mina maswali mengi kwako, kilichokutenganisha na ex wako. Sema unanipenda na hujamaanisha hivi, unanipenda nini? Sema unanipenda nini? Sema basi unanipenda nini? Sema unanipenda nini? Sina mapenzi ila mapenzi yalinitia kiburi, yalichonitenda enzi hizo. Maana wengi niliwapa mapenzi, baada ya penzi nikavuna wadui, naogopa mwisho vilio. Mapenzi hayajakamilika, mapenzi ni maridhiano, imani na nia. Mapenzi ni mawasiliano, nina maswali mengi kwako, kilichokutenganisha na ex wako. Na kama unanipenda na hujamaanisha hivi, umenipenda nini? Sema umenipenda nini? Sema basi umenipenda nini? Niambie umenipenda nini?
Otherwise uko aje, mi niko poa. The way you pulling me down, nitapoa. And if you keep talking to me like that, you're living with me tonight. Otherwise uko aje, mi niko poa. The way you pulling me down, nitapoa. And if you keep talking to me like that, you're living with me tonight.
I mean, staki jina yako ndakuita Suzy tonight. Utakula ndondo ama sushi na rice. Hiyo fike ni namba, hebu show me your ID. My Coca-Cola hizo kona ni idol. Nakupa fraka zitakunywa dry gin. Nakupa movie tamu utaingia driving. Tasema da, lakina Nandi and them. Na you dance. Ni my man, that's place famous. Mama kuni teach like that. Na napenda sana, you don't breathe like that. Mama summer bunny, mama summer honey. Wata spears na diva wako kaflawa flani. Flexible sana, ay, masama flani. Manyume makatwil nipange. That catwil nipande. Anyways, otherwise suko aje.
Mi niko poa. The way you pulling me down, nitapoa. And if you keep talking to me like that, you're living with me tonight. Otherwise uko aje, mi niko poa. The way you pulling me down, nitapoa. And if you keep talking to me like that, you're living with me tonight. You know the vibes, sikujui hivyo sana, but I wouldn't mind getting your number. You know the vibes, sikujui hivyo sana, lakini kuna vile umenibamba. You know the vibes, sikujui hivyo sana, but I wouldn't mind getting your number. You know the vibes, sikujui hivyo kidogo sana lakini kuna vile umenibamba. Mr. One Night Stand, tell me where we stand. Mr. One Night Stand, I wouldn't mind if you hold my hand. Mr. One Night Stand, tell me where we stand. Mr. One Night Stand, I wouldn't mind if you hold my hand. Ndo nimefika nyumbani, kila mtu anatabasamu. Kuna furushi la sahani na vyakula vingi vitamu. Mamake kanambia eti mwanae anaoa. Dadake kasisitiza na si wewe Nadi anaoa. Tulivyopendana hatukuwahi zozana, mapenzi kwa sana, na leo naona nilimwekea ahadi nitamzalia wana. Wa kwanza Kai, wa pili Zuena, wa tatu Maria. Nilishamwekea ahadi nitamzalia wana. Wa kwanza Kai, wa pili Zuena, wa tatu Maria. Kipepeo, pepeo, mwambie asiowe mwingine. Kipepeo, pepeo, mwambie mimi ndo nampenda. Kipepeo, pepeo, mwambie asiowe mwingine. Kipepeo, pepeo, mwambie mimi ndo nampenda. Kipepeo, pepeo, mwambie asiowe mwingine. Kipepeo, pepeo, mwambie nampenda. Kipepeo, pepeo, mwambie asiowe mwingine. Kipepeo, pepeo.
Ibidi bado nakupenda, and I know na mimi unanipenda. Na sikutarajia kukuvunja moyo, baby nisamehe. Ila tunajua masaibu yangu ma, hutawezana na kukosa kwangu ma. Inauma sana kukuacha we, ila sina budi baby. Turuhusu sanya, tatemera, kusa sina jimbere, ngongu sigi nyuma. Babe, I just wanna put your head kwa, you know, give me tiyabiti chuma. Ni kweli tulipendana, hatukuwahi zozana. Mapenzi kwa sana, na leo naona, ila yote mipango ya Mungu. Na kuombea mema, kubali safari ya mapenzi